Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BPL 8 Kickoff Tournament. I'm Newbeat, that's Shammy, and we're getting ready for a matchup between Those Who Crow and Mango Nectar. Shammy, how's it going? What are you looking forward to in this first match?
Hi, Newbie. It's going pretty well, and I'm excited to see more, fresh and upcoming teams showing us how they play their Overwatch. Because over the last couple weeks, we have sort of started to break away a little bit from that cat bastion meta, even without some interference with the devs. So I'm excited to see, what kind of spin these teams bring on it, especially since this is Those Who Crow's first game in BPL Season 8. They had a bye previously, so having them go up against Mango Nectar is definitely going to have some exciting results.
Yeah, and I'm honestly really happy they we're kind of getting away from the Bastion Cat meta. That really wasn't my favorite.
Yep.
But as you can see here, yeah, Mango Nectar already taken down Danu 2-1. So that's something to watch out today as well. Is that going to really help Mango Nectar already having played that extra game? Maybe they have a little bit more familiarity with their teammates, and maybe that can give them a leg up.
Yeah, and it being a longer series going all the way 2-1 means that, you've had more opportunity here to really figure out what works, what doesn't work. You've gotten the opportunity to go to all three of your map types. So it's going to be an advantage for Mango Nectar, definitely, but that's something that Those Who Crow can make up for in the preparation for today's stream.
For sure, they've probably already done a little bit of prep work, and we can take a quick look at the rosters as well before we get going. Just looking through them beforehand, like we did definitely have kind of that fun mix of some newer names that we haven't really seen before, and then we also have some new, or sorry, some returning names. Some names that are really familiar to BPL fans of years past. Like January is really strong on the hit scan for Those Who Crow, and they're definitely a player to watch. I think Those Who Crow have a really strong lineup, but I think this could end up being a pretty close match.
Yeah, I think one of the big binding points here for Mango Nectar is they only really have one tank player in Fish. Now, Fish is an established name returning to the series, but you very rarely have one person who's able to play it all, who's able to play the dive, the poke, the brawl. So that is definitely going to open up some opportunities for Those Who Crow to attack, especially since we see just how much variety, how much cross training they have. I think that off the rip, that is going to give them a leg up.
Yeah, that flexibility can really be an advantage in these quicker series first to two. So I think that can only help them out. Like if a team needs to make a quick pivot, I think Fish can really help them out with that map to map. And that's something that they can really lean on as we go forward. It looks like our first map as well is going to be Esperanza, which is a really interesting starting point as well because in Mango Nectar's first game, they won the game 2-1, but the map they lost was Colosseo. So they've already gone basically own one on push maps, so it'll be interesting to see if that can continue.
Yeah, I mean, push can be very difficult. I know a lot of people, when we run to control as the first map, will dismiss it as being that super hyper brawly, it's just team deathmatch with extra steps. But push, really, right out the gate, is going to really test your momentum skills. If are you going to be able to pace yourself? Do you have the ultimate economy or the knowledge to be able to win these fights? Because if you lose multiple in a row, you're really tough out of luck, especially once you get those checkpoints. And for a team that struggled really hard in push previously, I'm expecting some really big improvement here for them to go up against Those for Crow today.
And momentum's a really important word when it comes to push maps as well, kind of like you were saying. Like if you lose the first couple fights especially and get really far behind on the distance,
Yep.
it can almost be impossible to make that back up because then you have to win like 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in a row if you want to catch up. And it just makes it so much easier for the other team to just kind of hold on and bleed out the clock.
Yeah, and bleeding it out, slowing things is really the name of the game here. When it comes to especially the character picks that we're seeing these days, the meta has, like we mentioned before, widened a little bit, but you're still leaning really heavily on your hit scan DPS. Are they going to be able to output that damage? Are they going to be able to find those frags and really help your team elevate yourself a step ahead? And another really big one that I do want to call out before we go to the series is I've been seeing a lot of Mei getting played, and Mei is a character that, while historically she hasn't had much place in a pro, when you're looking at it in this new light, when you're able to play her as an off tank, and especially in push maps where that can be really advantageous in breaking up a lot of those extra long sight lines, she starts to make a lot more sense. And if you have a Mei player on your team, that's a lot of pressure relieved.
For sure, and Mei is such a strong hero when it comes to, utility with the ice walls. Even with that displacing ultimate, we know we don't see Mei get a lot of people with the ultimate all the time, but it can really, force people clear to dodge when that Q gets popped. So we'll definitely have to see what's doing there. I think you kind of touched on it as well. I think that DPS battle between these two teams is going to be something to really keep an eye on.
Oh, for sure. And like you said before, is we have, a really established hit scan in January. She's been playing in the series before, and you got some fresh talent. We want to try and eat your lunch, and we want to really, set ourselves up on the right foot here for the tournament moving forwards. Now, with the bans coming up, right, we do have one ban per team. Who do you think we might be able to see? Who are some like really hot topic issues that you could see get banned out on map one of a series?
I mean, it always obviously depends on what these teams want to play, but I think
Yep.
you could really throw a team off kilter by banning like something like a diva right now. Like the
Yep.
only really obvious argument to that is most teams want to play diva a lot of the time, so I think that is probably unlikely. But I think something like that would really shake up what these teams end up going with as far as the other four heroes.
Yeah, I think if you following that train of thought, if you really want to nip a team in the bud and you really want to throw them off balance, banning somebody out like a Kiriko, who has really been the linchpin of supports recently, you could really open up the door to a lot of different strategies. I mean, we've seen Ana get some play, but with Kiri just being the de facto support, it's a little bit difficult to find some of that value. And then I'm really looking up over at that DPS side because there is a lot of opportunity to remove characters from the board that can be problematic. I mean, we've seen Sojourn and Cassidy get a really significant amount of playtime recently, and if you don't have prio and it's a mirror between those two characters, it can become hellish, especially if, like you called up before, if a diva gets taken off and you don't have that mitigation.
Well, for sure, that can really, really shake things up. And I mean, there's always the possibility of a more targeted band as well. Maybe some of these teams have knowledge on some of these players that have played previously in BPL, and they say, so and so is really good at X hero. Let's ban X hero. Like even yesterday, I saw a team ban Venture, which initially looks a bit odd.
Mm.
But then when you
Yep, it
saw
is.
one of the players play Venture later, you're like, okay, now I get why that happened.
Yeah, those specialist heroes, they will always catch you off guard, especially in, this type of play is you're trying to find the balance between, okay, we want to play the meta, we want to copy what, the big guys in OWCS are doing, and really playing our own game, which is I think where a lot of the fun and a lot of the value comes in. Um, One thing that kind of goes a little bit undervalued now is just the importance of those, or the significance of a tank ban in the current meta, because in previous metas we used to see really high importance being placed on, for example, a Ramatra or a Mauga or a Hazard. But at least if we're going off of the OWCS series today, you see a lot more variety. And when I was going through it, I counted at least 7 or 8 different tanks. That is a really nice place for that roles, especially to be in.
And it really talks back to that flexibility as well, not just from role to role, but if you're a tank player who can play a lot of different tanks, that's only going to help you out even more. It does look like we have our first band in. Those who crow have gone and decided to ban the Tracers, so speaking of heroes we see a fair amount of, there will be no Tracer in this first map.
Yeah, Tracer is a very solid ban here for those who Crow. It does speak to the strategy that they're looking to play for. You want to have a lot of long-range DPS, potentially the Sojourn instead of a Cassidy. So you want to relieve yourself from a lot of the pressure, and you want to really put a lot of resources into that. It also allows you to be a lot more greedy with your support characters if you're not as confident, for example, on a Mizuki, and you want to go a double flex like a Kiri Juno, then that also helps you a lot, and it really does speak to where this could go next and gives Mango Nectar a really difficult time choosing how to respond.
Yeah, that really throws the ball back in Mango Nectar's court. Now they have to figure out what they're going to do to counter this one out. And kind of like you were mentioning a moment ago as well, I do wonder now that the Tracer's gone, maybe they try and go take out one of these supports. It could be a road to make sure that they have the utility that they need to try and offset that Tracer ban.
Yeah, and when it comes to, picking which support you want to remove from the board in this meta, then you start to run into a couple more difficulties because Kiriko is, really huge in this current meta, but she's not really bannable at this point. If you're worried about Cat, you can always remove Cat from play, but on a push map in particular, I'm not really seeing the issue with it as much, especially Esperanza, which naturally has a lot of cover and a lot of different ways that you can maneuver yourself. It's going to be more of a concern on a flashpoint, for example, instead. And it's going to be a Lucio ban. All right. Not what I was looking for.
Okay, my eyebrows definitely went up there when I saw the Lucio ban, because I was sitting here and I was thinking, like, if there's one hero you really want to ban to kind of shake everything up, because push, the speed advantage is so strong, you almost always see a Lucio on push, so that leads me to think that maybe we're going to see some Juno with a speed ring, and that's really the only other option you have to really try and make up some of that lack of speed.
Yeah, I mean, that's really pigeonholing. I like the way that you brought up Juno as a counterpick, because, yeah, she does provide a lot in terms of the speed, but your utility has just evaporated, and not only in the consistency of the speed boost and the boop, but also the sound barrier being removed means, Mango Nectar, they have to play a lot more carefully when you have those ultimates on board. Now, as we head into Esperanza for map 1, I'm excited to see what these teams have cooked up.
Yeah, it really feels like with those hero bans that both these teams do have at least an initial strategy they want to stick to, and it's going to be fun to see if those two teams can stick to those strategies, if they work, or if they have to, change on the fly and get over to something else in case those initial strategies don't work. But at the very least, it seems like these two teams have something cooked up.
Yep, and the first 2 to 3 minutes of this map are going to be the most hectic. You are going to look for really big advantages. You want, if you're cheering for Crows or if you're cheering for Mango, you want them to win 2 to 3 fights in a row, and you want to see them come ahead with their ults still online. And not only that, but you want to see your team avoid heavy trades, because heavy trades gives an opportunity for the enemy team. It's the same distance to walk back, so you're going to have to take the fight slower, and it's going to be on the objective neutralizing it right away. Now, looking at what the teams have cooked up for us, I see a Ball, I see a Genji, I see a Soldier, and a Kiri Brig. My brain is spinning.
I mean, I said they were cooking something up. I didn't know they were like mad scientists. This is gonna be an awesome comp to watch. Like, rolling on the ball just after my own heart. You can see the speed advantage inherently you get with that wrecking ball going forward and getting right in onto the point, as Mango Nectar is going to be the second to engage here, coming out with a Sigma on the tank. So definitely a more traditional choice here in Esperanza.
And you see the positioning here for Mango Nectar is trying to be aggressive, but the Ball is continuing to displace them. The Venture is, doing their best to buy room on this point, as those who are buying their time. They're going for the rotate and looking for their first pick.
Yeah, and Kiddo's just going to come through on that ball, just trying to find a quick hit and run. Fish is going to find the first elimination of the match as they get rid of K, and now Sandy's able to walk forward on that Mizuki and finish off the Wrecking Ball. So this is going to be a quick fight here. Mango Nectar is going to take that first lead, and like you mentioned, we just got to see if they can string a few more together.
Yeah, brutal first elimination there. It's not very often that you see your Kiriko get picked off by the opposing tank, especially a Sigma at that. But the dominoes fall, and those who Crow end up losing the first engagement. Now as they set themselves up, they have a Venture in tow. It doesn't look like it's enough to contest with Strudel.
Strudel winning that Venture Mirror, the supremacy for that hero right now going over to Strudel. Munching is able to get rid of Strudel, so they're going to pay for that almost instantly, and now we got a little 4v4 action as the bot is getting ever close to the checkpoint, and nobody looks like they can get to it, and that bot is going to make it all the way into the checkpoint. That's going to be absolutely huge, especially with Kernmaster going down with the high noon. Mango Nectar is in full gear, and they look like they're still picking up steam.
Yeah, they're starting off right away in 5th. And they're doing a lot of damage. Kernmaster does take down Kiddo yet again, and you can just see how the trades keep happening. You're struggling to really hold your position, and 77 meters all the way going over to Mango Nectar. I don't want to call it over because there's still 7.5 minutes, but it's really difficult to come back from.
Yeah, the mountain is getting higher and higher to climb by the minute. January is able to find one on the Venture, and she gets an absolutely crucial pick here, getting rid of Kernmaster. Now with Aim God waking up as well. This is going to be 2 picks for those who Crow, and it looks like they're finally stabilizing almost 3 minutes into the map.
Yep, the Graviton Flux being used for Mango Nectar is unfortunate for them, having still lost that fight. And overall, though, as an overall picture, those who Crow and Mango Nectar are not that far away from each other. You have the Visor, which is going to be your big ticket ultimate, especially if you're able to combine it with the Kitsune Rush out of K. But Mango Nectar do still have opportunities to play around this. The Kekai Sanctuary, if I'm saying that right, from Mizuki, does give them a lot of space, but we also see the bombs into a pause menu.
Oh, now Fish is able to land an accretion in onto January, and Mango Nectar is trying to pull this one back in, getting forward, getting some picks. Kiddo is going to throw down the minefield, and that claims the life of Sandy. And those who Crow is still fighting this one out. A nice rotation coming through from Aim God. Still has that tactical visor in their back pocket. Decides not to pop it just yet. Getting Fish very low. Has to use that Grasp Stay Alive. And then eats a pile driver coming in from Kiddo. And a nice stun coming out onto that Wrecking Ball. And Kernmaster is able to finish off the tank. Both tanks now off the field. And those who Crow is still getting some meterage here. Mango Nectar is finally going to push them away from the point.
Aim God really earning their name there. Doesn't need the visor to be able to lock onto you, but now that I mention it, they do pop it and are looking aggressively for an angle. Drops off the high ground and has a Venture right underneath. Doesn't even care.
Yeah, nice try there from Aim God, trying to pop that visor early and see if they can catch anybody off guard. But now January is going to get a 2-piece inside this room, and that Venture is paying dividends. Big Brain doing a good job of keeping Fish up just for a little while longer here. And that Sigma is going to survive this fight. But now, just like that, those who Crow is right back into this match.
Yeah, the objective possession from those who Crow in the second half has been immaculate, and especially with their ult preservation. They've already got a second bomb, so they're using to deploy in, and a Kitsune Rush, a double rush.
The ults are being spent here, and will it be enough? Fish and Kernmaster are able to get 2 before January trade ones back. But Mango Nectar is still in the driver's seat, and they are going to win this fight out and regain control of that bot. So this is where we start seeing the tough situation when you lose some meterage early on and push, as we see this bot going all the way back past the neutral point.
And I think a really big part of that there is that Crow were not proactive with that engagement. They saw Big Brain use the Kitsune Rush, tried to respond in turn, but they just weren't in an advantageous situation. And now Mango Nectar able to wrestle away control from them again. And as these teams continue to set up here, there is still 30 meters on Mango Nectar's advantage. And as long as they're able to continue ping-ponging this, and especially if they're able to get that first checkpoints, they're going to be able to play a really effective game of keep away and stall this map out.
Fish is looking for a spot to throw down. That Flux isn't ready to part with it just yet. Munching dropping in off the high ground, seeing if they can get more damage in. Gets hit with the chain, a nice chain coming out from Sandy, and Strudel's able to finish them off. And now the pile driver into the back is going to do a ton of damage. Kiddo's going to find one. Pops the adaptive shields, and that's going to keep them alive. This Fish finally goes in with that ultimate, and it's able to get rid of K, who didn't have the Suzu available to them at that time. And now Mango Nectar's got that forward spawn, and they're going to get a little bit more of a lead.
Continuing to claw away. Any extra meterage is going to save you in the big time, but we see Aim God on the flank doing so much damage to the Mizuki. Kiddo is able to finish it off, and there's no time to rest as the team full engages.
That was a really good play in coming from Kiddo, and now we got the Deadeye coming out, and Kernmaster is shut down almost instantly. Aim God and January teaming up once again to get a couple eliminations. Strudel able to trade one back here, but the advantage is now with those who crow. K is able to finish off Fish. Strudel still fighting tooth and nail for this fight, but the bot is going to go back to those who crow, and I think the use of the word ping-ponging was really good, because that seems to be what's happening now.
Yeah, another thing that really comes into Crow's side is they didn't have to use ults there. They were able to get that fight very resourceful from Aim God looking on that flank angle, but now they have to continue this further. They've just gotten it here back to the midpoint, and the Tectonic Shock is already being deployed to keep Crow off.
Strudel just saw their opportunity to use that ultimate to get one elimination, and they were able to take it. Now Sanctuaries have been spent by both the Mizukis. Kiddo's able to find that kill onto Big Brain, and now the bot is still surging forward. As we can see, the Venture is just taking control of that, just kidnap the robot. Strudel is going to have to back up as those who crow are getting wise to this play. But that was a great play from Strudel to just buy them a bunch of extra time by taking the bot.
Yeah, and able to survive on top of that. That is, 10 extra cherries on this cake. Now, as, those who crow are walking forward, they only have 2 minutes left. And the ball has been kidnapped again.
That was a very big pick from Aim God to start that off. Now in January getting 2. This is the DPS for those who grow showing up right now. These fights are being carried by the Venture and the Soldier, and it's really working out for them. Kiddo, although it's been looking pretty good on that Wrecking Ball as well, able to clean up 2, and now the bot's back in their possession.
Yep, the map is starting to come to its conclusion. The crescendo keeps building, and Crow are starting to feel that pressure. They've got 2, maybe 3 team fights left in them, and with 30 meters left for them to cover, it is definitely doable. I don't want to call it until it's completely over, but Mango Nectar have a very strong case for themselves here with this defense.
Right now, those who go trying to make them start to sweat, but Fish is going to find that first pick in onto January. And now he's bought their team an advantage as that Venture is out of the fight. Aim God has the attack visor on the high ground, is going to pop it. Getting Strudel very low and is able to finish him off. And now with Munchkin getting another. This is those who crow crawling back into this fight. A great ultimate up top from the Soldier, able to finish off Big Brain with that Helix rocket as well. And this is going to be those who crow really starting to make Mango Nectar worry.
That's that fight that you really needed. You did expend all of your ultimates if you're Crow, and if you're Mango Nectar, you've still got plenty left in the tank. You've got a Graviton Flux, you've got the High Noon, and both of those in combination have been deadly so far in this map. Now, 8 meters left to go. There is no more room for compromise, and we see Strudel here already contesting the objective.
This is going to be the final fight one way or the other. 2 trades coming through, 4v4 Overwatch occurring right now. Onto the bot, we got 10 seconds left in the round, so this is going to decide the map for one of these teams. Shields get popped here for Kiddo staying alive and Hardy in the fight. And now we got the big Flux coming out here from Fish, is able to slam multiple members and now finish off January. We are into overtime. Sky Noon comes out from Kernmaster, isn't able to find anything, and then he finds Kiddo right on the back end of that Cassidy ultimate, and the overtime burns away, and the first map of the night is going to go to Mango Nectar.
Beautiful, beautiful play there from both of those teams, but ultimately it was the consistency of Mango Nectar that really pulled through, and that combination, right? Fish being very, very competent there on the Sigma, as well as Kernmaster finding those angles, right? And not to discount Strudel at all, the Venture was very, very potent and able to A, really force your opponent to match you on your own ground, but B, able to continue to zone them off and to buy your team more time because push, it's just a running clock.
Yeah, and it was crazy kind of how not only how close that map ended up being, but just the amount of mobility that we were seeing out of these teams running the ventures, running the wrecking ball, was really making for some chaotic and scrappy fights. And I think that really just heightened the excitement there in that first map.
Yeah, and chaotic and scrappy, that's what Crow brings to the table. And hey, we did see some really strong plays happen. I think that Aim God in particular, the roaming soldier, beautiful, A+ tier performance, but you gotta pull the rest of the team up with you. And I feel like those weights were just a little bit too heavy for them on that first map. But that's not something that they can't fix, especially going over to Flashpoint, which, hey, still momentum based, but it's a very different kind of game.
For sure. And now we got to keep in mind as well that Lucio is going to be back on the table. So wouldn't be surprised to see a Lucio come out in the Flashpoint as well. As these teams are going to be picking some new bans here momentarily. But yeah, what do you take away as far as Mango Nectar? What do they have to do differently coming up in this next map to kind of tie it up?
Yeah, I think that's with the bans opening up, I do want to focus on that first and foremost because, Tracer being taken off the board could hint further at maybe, Strudel was a really good Tracer player, and we didn't get to see that, and now that that's back, there is some potential there. With the Lucio in particular, I think that having him available for a Flashpoint map is going to vastly warp your experience, especially if you're not going to really commit to that ball. If you want to play something more brawly, then you're going to be able to use that Lucio as an advantage, and you're able to really run down your opponents. And maybe that's where Crow is more comfortable, right? Because this is only the first map that we've seen out of this team. We still haven't really seen them hit that comfort point, hit that like 100% energy that we want. And another big thing, right, is we saw the early swaps happening in that map. It's going to be a Suravasa, and if we want to see January go back on the Genji that she showed at the very beginning, this is a very good map for it.
Yes, and when you bring that up, I've seen January play Genji before, and it's terrifying for the opponents. Like, that is a solid Genji. I don't think January picking Genji could ever honestly be a bad choice.
Yep.
But we'll have to see. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting map here on Suravasa because do we see that Wrecking Ball again? Like, I was surprised to see the Wrecking Ball once. Now that it worked out kind of, like, I
Yep.
think they might pick it again. I mean, there's a lot of things up in the air right now, it feels like.
Yeah, I think worked was, if we're looking at the overall point of that match, yeah, the Wrecking Ball did work, but in the first half especially, it really, really struggled. And that's something that you've got to ask yourself again internally is, do we want to run this back now that we're, warmed up, or are we just going to go a completely different direction and leave the ball behind?
Well, one we will be leaving behind for this next map is Orisa because they have been banned out here by those who crow. So
Okay.
that's an interesting ban, I think, in and of itself, just showing just taking all that utility that Orisa has out of the fight. Like, no more spear, no more gold, like there's so many things that Orisa can negate.
Yeah, I think Orisa's just a really strong Vanguard unit, is able to really, hold your space, and most importantly, a really strong counter to, that Brawl Rush type of playstyle that we were commenting on before. And then you see Mango Nectar banning out that soldier, clearly, putting a lot of respect onto Aim God's name, and really relieving more of that. I say relieving a lot, but that is truly what a lot of the bans really serve to tackle in this play.
That's a really interesting ban as well, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. They're doing that because they don't want to see Aim God play soldier this map. They were just like, nah, we're good. You can take a break, maybe play some other heroes, maybe come back to that later. Just take a quick breather, have a couple orange slices on the
Yep.
sidelines of their soldiers. So going into Suravasa, this is also worth noting that if Mango Nectar win this one, it is match point as well for them.
Yeah, and this is exactly where Mango Nectar want to be. There's no double elimination in this tournament. You either succeed or you don't. And it looks like that warm-up game that they had previously, that series that Mango Nectar won, has really started to prove them dividends. Now, looking at these team compositions, Kiddo back on the Wrecking Ball is not something that either of us expected. But we're going to see Aim God, continue to pick up the hit scan. January on the Tracer. But what I want to look at here is what Mango Nectar are bringing to the table. You're continuing to have the Sigma. You're not going with Lucio. And you've got an Emre.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting hero choices going on here. Also, that Orisa ban really makes sense now. If Kiddo wants to stick on the Wrecking Ball, making sure that nobody can flex the Orisa is a really smart move. Aim God doesn't need the Soldier. Comes out with the Cassidy. He's able to get the first pick here on the Kern Master, and that really puts those who crow in the driving seat here, not having to worry about that damage coming out from the Emery. And now with Kiddo taking down a second, this is those who crow really taking a death grip here on this first fight. Fish just trying to get some of that overhealth so that maybe they can disengage or get in and off the point, but Kiddo is not letting them go without a fight. Nice melee in onto Big Brain, and that is going to be a little bit of a stagger now. This is going to be those who grow getting the point and getting a decent amount of cap percentage, but just as I say that, Kiddo goes too far.
The Hinder doing a lot of work there, shutting down the ball, and now Mango Nectar are able to really lay claim to it. Without the Wrecking Ball, they don't have much positional advantage. But one of the big things, right, is this is those who crow kicked right into high gear here as we see January diving this back line.
Yeah, January getting right in there once again. A couple of trades coming through, but this is the point for Mango Nectar right now, just holding on to it. Nice headshot coming out from Kern Masters while taking down Munching, and that is going to be the rest of those who crow just kind of scurrying on out and resetting here as Mango Nectar takes the lead in cap percentage.
We have only just tied things up. Mango Nectar are starting to build themselves a lead, but it's not going to be comfortable until the point is fully capped. We see those who crow walking their way back. Pulse Bomb in the back pocket as well as mines on Kiddo. This is going to be your decisive big team fight.
Kiddo's trying to do as much as they can on this Wrecking Ball, but there's just so much CC coming into that Hammond that it's just tough for Kiddo to get around right now. And with January going down, this is still an advantage for Mango Nectar. They're going to try and turn it around now, though, with the minefield here being spent by Kiddo, but K is going to fall, and that is going to be a huge development here, as those whose crow has the point for a bit, but Mango Nectar is going to get it back here post-haste, and they might even just take this round, first round.
Yeah, but one of the big things that Stall did is allowed Mango Nectar to build up their ultimates. Now they have the decision that they can make. Do they want to commit it, or are they going to be able to clear this out without having to expend them against those who crow?
They are able to get in and get the touch, but that is going to be the Sanctuary coming up from Sandy. And with Kern Master just sitting inside and dumping out shots from that Emery ult, this is going to be a tough overtime for those who crow to win. Now Fish is going to throw down that Gravitic Flux, and they're going to find two, and that is the Sigma trying to wrap this fight up in a bow. January still in onto the point. It's going to get a headshot in onto Sandy before they finally fall over, and this is a great stall coming out here for those who crow, but it just looks like at the end they just don't have the gas in the tank, and then Munching with a questionable sound barrier.
Yeah, I think that those who crow had a really strong thing going for them. They were able to get in and really force a lot of key ultimates out of Mango Nectar in that contest. But seeing how close things were, seeing how close Fish was to being 6 feet under, those who crow made a critical error and overextended their sound barrier. Now they do have an advantage going into this next fight. The Kitsune Rush will be matched, but you have a Pulse Bomb and you got mines.
Yeah, the mines are going to be spent already. Kid is getting rid of those early. Is able to dodge the accretion with some nice moves. Strudel finds one in onto Aim God, and that is going to start the gun on this fight. And now Strudel getting in over the point on that Venture, throws down the Tectonic Shock, but they are getting, so very low. Strudel's able to find the health pack and stay alive as Fish and Kern Master show up as reinforcements. So Strudel not only finds a pick, but is able to distract long enough for the rest of the team to come back and just clean up on all that damage he was able to do at the beginning.
The first cap finds its way over to Mango Nectar, and this is very advantageous situation for the team to be in. They still got the Kitsune Rush back in that bag, and if I'm looking team for team, I like Emre and Sigma and Mizuki with a Rush a lot more than I do Crow, but you do see them rip it right off the bat.
Yeah, and you can see Kiddo just eating more of that CC with the chains coming in from the Mizuki before they get taken down. And now we have the Rush coming in onto the point here from Big Brain, and it's looking like a decent rush. Sandy's able to get one kill here. They still have the point, and now Aim God is trying to go in, sneak in with that Deadeye, not really able to do anything, so they're just going to go right down main. Slam coming in from Kiddo. Isn't able to find too much here. Fish has another one of those fluxes online, see if they can do something. Ooh. Nice play though from Aim God to get rid of Strudel.
Yep, Venture off the board is going to be a Flux as well as a Sanctuary. The Cassidy rolling into danger gets taken down in short order, and now those who Crow are down too, trying to keep this fight going. Lucio falls next, and all they've got is a ball twirling around on this point as Tracer dies next. It's a pretty definitive fight victory for Mango Nectar, both in terms of manpower and ults.
And that was a really gutsy Deadeye coming up from Aim God. Like, they were like, hey, if I get inside this Sanctuary, I'm really going to catch him off guard. But Fish read it like a book and was able to throw out that grasp and mitigate the damage coming through. So it ended up not looking that great, as now we rotate on over to the third point. And those who Crow is going to be the first team to get there.
That is what you want to be. You want to be the first team, you want to be the first cap, and you want to build up more of that time. We see the Override Protocol get ripped extremely early, almost catch that Lucio off guard, but Kernmaster is the one to drop down to 1 HP. It's going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Mango Nectar, as we see Kiddo there just trying to stall things out further. Now, that victory was decisive for Mango Nectar. They did use a lot, but this is setting themselves up. This is match point. This is series points, and Mango have been in the driver's seat from beginning to middle to end.
Yeah, and that it really seems like those who Grow is just struggling finishing off some of these kills. They almost got Kernmaster in that last fight. The same has happened previously to both Cerudal and Fish, where they get really low but they don't die. And now the fight is moving in over on the point. Nice pistol coming up from Kernmaster, able to pick up 2. And with that brace, Mango Nectar is just sitting pretty on the point. January is able to trade 1 back before they go down to that drill. And now Kiddo really trying to go for a hopeful minefield. And they're able to get one. What? Strudel wanders into the explosives, and it didn't feel good.
And I thought the tectonic shocks were being used to remove it, but I guess not, as we see Kiddo getting himself into a little bit of trouble. He's able to escape thanks to just the supports being the ones who turned around. We see Fish get taken down to extremely low HP. They want to rip the Flux, but they're not able to yet, as Munching is able to shut them down. As we find ourselves in overtime, Crow are up 1 man.
Fish now, floating belly up, is not going to be able to participate into this fight. And those who Crow just simply have to take advantage of here. And it looks like they just might. Kiddo able to get the boot kill onto Big Brain. And with K getting in on the kill feed as well, this is going to be a flip. And just at the death, those who Crow is going to be able to stay alive here. Remember, they are really close to the end of this match. They really can't lose again.
Things are looking very even for both of these teams. We see Kai drop the first at the crucial moment. The Sanctuary gets dropped down as well, as Mango Nectar are able to clean up 3 kills to call their own. No supports left on this board. It's just Kiddo against the world, as Mango Nectar are taking their sweet, sweet time to get this cap.
Yeah, this could be it right here. This could be everything for Mango Nectar, winning the map. I mean, I gotta say, Kiddo is building up these minefields incredibly quickly. He's able to throw that one in the middle of that Kitsune Rush, but it isn't going to claim anybody's life just yet. And now Kernmaster is going to pour in extra damage in onto the point with that Emery. They're able to find one in onto Munching before Kiddo, of all people, is the one to take them out. But Fish finds a nice accretion in onto Aim God, and then is going to rip that Flux right away, slams down Kiddo, then gets finished off, and there's just nobody left for those who Crow to touch, and that is going to be Mango Nectar taking it 2-0.
It was a really close fight, and honestly, all things considered, a pretty close map. It looked very differently going up 2-0, but you can really see that Crow gave it their all, and especially on Suravasa. Seeing, Kiddo being the head of this team, and January being both their left and their right fist, cleaning up those kills, doing tons of damage. But ultimately, Mango Nectar, I gotta hand it to them, because they might be a newly assembled team, but they played like people that have been together for months now.
Yeah, the macro did look really good from Mango Nectar, and I gotta say, I say this every time we start a new BPL season, but the branding is immaculate. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how they do it every time, but it just looks so good.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to the branding team. Always smack it out of the park, especially. I watched the broadcast yesterday, and I mean, come on, Nightwings and Hongsa, like those are beautiful team names as well. And congratulations, of course, to Mango Nectar, who are going to be proceeding over to the semifinals. Got themselves a nice and cozy seat in the tournament B brackets. What's next for them, newbie?
Yeah, and I wanted to shout out Fish first because like for me he was their MVP. Like I know there was a lot of big plays coming out from like Kern on the DPS for example, but Fish was just crazy on that stigma. Just so good on the timing of the fluxes. Did a lot of mitigation with that grasp as well. We saw them basically just cancel out that one Cassidy ult from Aim God, and just really really proficient on the Sigma.
Yeah, I think that I fully agree with your points. I do have a little bit of a personal bias towards the support players, but all things considered, I did cast some doubt, so I got to put some respect on their name. I think that Fish is going to do very well for themselves this season, as the head of the team.
Yeah, they're really that tip of the spear that can really lead them all forward. It seems like a really good player to just anchor them into these fights. So let's take a quick look at the bracket now and see kind of where we've been and where we're going to be headed next. You can see with that win, Mango Nectar is going to face the winner of Flying Bugbears and Slime City Monarchs. So that will be another good one as well. But as you can see, these are some pretty close matches so far. This, I believe, just looking at this, was our first 2-0.
Yeah, and it was a pretty explosive one at that. Like I said before, I don't think that, it was really a sweep in any sense of the imagination, as, a best of three series can sometimes look like that from the outside looking in, but both of those teams put really good showings forward, and I'm definitely going to be paying attention to where Crow and Mango Nectar find themselves next.
For sure, and I should mention that's the first 2-0 in the B bracket, which is what we're looking at here. But with that, we're going to throw it over to the scheduler to see what is coming up next. On the stream, you can see that we got another game coming up. I believe that's 9 p.m. Eastern. We're just waiting to see and find out who the TBDs are going to be in those matches. So it's gonna be some interesting fights here coming up. And as we're taking a look at the bracket, we're seeing who's left to come into these matches.
Yeah, we're going around the world, baby, because this is Tournament A. So these are going to be our next contestants. You can see down there, match number 7, Zrael was able to win 2-0 over their opponent Snowdrop, and now they're waiting to see who is going to be their next competitor. Is it going to be Echo Knights? Is it going to be Amatori? Both fantastic teams, no doubt, but only one can survive.
Yep, 2 will enter and 1 will leave, and that will be the next match. Zerail taking on the winner of Echonites and Amatori there, so that is shaping up to be a good one. So I think that's definitely something to stick around.
Yeah, love that we're getting more of that representation, spreading ourselves around and seeing a lot more of these beautiful teams, right? Big shout out, of course, to the Deadlock themed one I saw there, the Archmother, A+.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be all for me and for Newbeat, but that's not all for the stream, because make sure to come back for that next series. We'll see you soon.
Should I just go Ram? They banned it for a reason. What'd you say, Nyanza? Okay.
Have a nice day.
Have peace at any cost. You're welcome, by the way.
I can go Czar then, if you want.
Watch our flanks. They might try something.
I need this. I need to play against my teammate. My team. They're on Czar, they're on Czar. I'm taking open. They're on mid. Yeah, I'm gonna play slow. I'm playing back. Made no block. I'm walking. Oh, there. I'm walking point. There's no raid. I have 4 and 3. Move on. No ults. They have, yeah.
Hello.
I'm just alright. One bub. Good grab.
Team, give them hell.
Yeah, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1. No raid coming. Walking still. Yeah. Keep walking. I love it. R1.
Без труда не видно, не рыть.
Best round lost.
They have us outnumbered.
Score 0-1.
It opens. The May's not as good on either of the other 2 points.
The end draws near.
If we do this right, they won't even know what happened.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do you want Dojo or do you want Wine?
Capture.
Open fire!
If you want to guard it. I'm ready.
Enemy here! Let's shove it in their faces.
Walking. Fucking spawn.
My
Yeah.
armaments are ready.
They have one buff. Go now.
A champion.
Up his grab. Good, yeah. That's well. Yeah. Did they beat? Yeah. No. They're walking left again.
Got one here.
Still good space.
Физкульт, привет!
Enemy spotted.
Bring me energy!
personal best. It's go time.
Welcome in, BPL fans. You are tuning into the A-League, and this is a semi-final match of our kickoff tournament. It's HD Philly B and the Radiant Rain to walk you through this wonderful match between Zerial and Amatori. This is going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. If you guys have been watching the stream, we got to see a little bit of that match that was played between the Knight team, but we've moved on here. Zerial versus Amatori. This is going to be, like you said, first to two, so not a whole lot of room to make mistakes here in a first to two series.
Amatori, they're kind of warmed up right now. They just did a best of, they went all three, right, in this first of two, so they're feeling hot and ready. We saw the stream there. Some people had some adjustments on their what do you call it, the camera, the color, right? We saw that there was some tech from these players here, but let's take a look at the bracket. We find ourselves in the semifinals.
Yeah, this is of course the kickoff tournament, so you're just kind of building the hype for the season here, and looking at how this bracket has been, I mean, you're seeing a lot of 2-0s, but some pretty nice, 2-1s as well going the distance, and this is of course just the beginning, so the competition is just going to get harder from here.
Season 8, it's summertime, you know BPL has all the action for you, and winning this, there's a lot. You get the accolade, right, the banner on your profile, and then you get some influence over how those groups are laid out in League A. So if you want to play with your sister teams or stay away from your rivals, you might have a little bit of sway with Nox, Solomon, and some of the other admin folks who put together those schedules. So a lot riding on this tournament, for sure.
Yeah, really looking forward to getting through these, and of course it's going to be continuing all weekend long here, so you're going to have this match happening now. There's another match after this one as well, and then more to be seen tomorrow on Sunday, so lots of BPL action here this weekend.
100%. Rain, I love your jersey, by the way. That is such a cool jersey.
Thank you.
Are you rooting for the Canada team right now in the World Cup? I gotta know.
I am not a sports fan.
No!
Yeah, go Canada! I'm gonna be so honest. I had no idea that Canada had a soccer team that was in the World Cup. I'm so sorry to my
no!
Yay!
Yay!
Talk to me about Overwatch World Cup. I'm all over that.
That's true. Oh, and that's going on. And then, yeah, and the Champions League was also going on, too. There's so much action in the Overwatch world. Season 3 is coming out next week as well. So it's a hype time. It's great in this time of year for Overwatch and games in general. Well, I want to take a look at these rosters. Let's see. We got some new bloods and we got some old faces for both of these squads. Let's pull up the rosters and see what we got. If we have them, knock. Okay, we do.
Zerial, we were promised that if we butchered this name that they wouldn't get mad at us, so we're gonna do our best regardless. Akioto and Altair, DPS here, Dabmaster, Inogen on those tank rolls, Sarah Lee, Rose Dog, Silvertall, so like you mentioned, definitely some familiar faces here if you've been around the BPL scene.
Yeah, for sure. Dabmasters, who I'm looking at as Season 7 Role Star, or BPL Vet, have been on a number of teams. And then Silver and Altair, they've been a Season 5, Role Star, as well as in Season 7, too. So lots of great veteranship on the team. And then some new folks like Rose Dog and Inahagen, right? There's just some of the new players. So it's great to see the mix-up for this team. But I want to check out Amatori because they have some Rally Rumble winners. And they've got some synergy going on in this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Frostfire, Esol, Stella Luna, DPS players here, Matt Berger, Tang, Zim, Ziff, Cry, Illuminous. Again, yeah, some really strong players here. I know Cry has been playing in the collegiate scene. I've gotten to see her in the Canadian Collegiate League. So definitely lots of strong contenders in this team.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Illuminous, a well-decorated player, has participated in a ton of BPL things, not just like the regular season stuff, but like the Anna paintball tournament and some of the fun things that we do here at Bad Pachimari. So they're just incredibly involved, and I'm looking to see what this player does when it comes to this kickoff tournament. Sorry.
I love to see a player that's going for the 100% completion rate of BPL.
Yeah.
I have absolute respect to that. Yeah, so definitely going to be a pretty fun series here. And I know we mentioned it already, but being up first to two is a lot of stress, especially starting on a push map here. That was something that I think is really interesting. Everybody does control map number 1. So throwing it over to the push map, New Queen Street, the push map that I feel like a lot of players don't really lean heavily into.
surprising. I actually am a big fan of New Queen Street. Like, if I have to take like a vote on the map choices, if I see that one up there, I like to go for it. And I like that it is push first because you get the whole extended time, right? It's 10 minutes, you're fighting all the way through, and that gives these players more time to feel each other out, work together as a squad, because we just did the auction like a couple days ago, so these teams are new in terms of forming, and that just helps with some of the team fight ability. You go back and forth, and it's one of my favorite game modes. I love to see that robot going back and forth. Pick a direction, please.
I definitely love the unpredictability that can come with these push maps, right? You can see a team that is like far in the lead, you've picked up the first checkpoint, but all it takes is like a little bit of a snowball, right? A couple of back-to-back fight wins, and it can turn the tide entirely. So I do really like push map for that instance. You know, it can be a little bit chaotic, but I feel like that adds to the fun.
There you go. Now, Rain, you're from Canada. Is there a New Queen Street? Do you have a New Queen Street in your town, or do you know where one is located? I need to know.
New Queen Street is in Toronto. My town does not have a New Queen Street. Queen Street is a very common name, so Queen Street, yeah, in Toronto, and I think that New Queen Street just being you know, future of Overwatch here, but yeah, it does exist. It's a real place.
That's huge. In America, everything is like MLK Boulevard or Avenue or something like that. So we've got some of that here too, but we've also got some bans, Rain, and it looks like the Diva will not be in this match, and neither is Sojourn. No, it's her hometown. How could you do such a thing?
That they're just letting her actually go out to the coffee shop right now.
There you go.
Yeah, they're just not throwing her into the fight. I'm sure she's still there visiting. Yeah, but at the Diva ban and the Sojourn ban here, I like it. And remembering as well that these bans are not going to be able to happen again for these teams throughout this series. So that Diva ban coming out of the mix right away. She has been kind of a favored tank in certain kind of compositions. That defense matrix still so strong. And then Sojourn, I mean, I do think Sojourn is still in a good place, but I do feel, you know, with the DPS heroes, it's fairly easy to just switch another DPS then that's going to do the same role.
Absolutely, and we saw a lot of Emre in that previous match for Amatori. Do you think we'll see the Turkish agent in this one, or do you think they'll go maybe for some of the flyers like the Echo, the Pharah, or do something out of bounds, like maybe we'll see Junkrat? I don't know.
Hey, I would love to see something a little quirky here, you know, try and catch people off guard. Do you think that Emre could be an excellent pick here, especially on New Queen Street, where you do have some really nice long sight lines to work with, and some nice little corners to kind of hide around as well? I think that some other of the high mobility characters, I'm thinking like the Freya or the Sierra, definitely could be a really nice option here as well.
Yeah, I like that too. The support line, usually it's pretty open. I feel like they could go with anything and be fine. We've seen a lot of Lucy Kiriko. We've seen some Bridge Ana. Like, we've seen the Jetpack Cat helping out with the Bastion. I want to see that. I haven't casted that yet. I've seen it played, but I haven't been able to cast it. And I'm crossing my fingers, Rain, that we get to see at least one maybe sometime this weekend.
I really hope so as well. I know that some people are a little bit sick of the Castion, but personally, I am a very big fan. I think that it's absolutely hilarious to watch, and I also think that it just really kind of plays into team synergy very well, which could be a really good test here in this kickoff tournament.
That's right. This is all about team building and community. That's what BPL is all about. And so having some of those coordinated plays really puts that friendship to the test. And, you know, I love the cat because I have an orange cat. And so just every time I see the Jetpack Cat, I'm like, that's my cat. I can put her in a little jetpack and see what she does and maybe save the world. But we'll see now as we go into New Queen Street. We are starting it off. I am so hyped to see what these teams select.
Me too, and of course, no Diva, no Sojourn here, so they are going to have to work around it. Looks like you had a pretty good call there, Sarah Lee and Rose Dog thinking about the Lucio Kiriko here. On the other side of things, potentially a Mizuki here from Osiren. Definitely have been getting to see a lot more Mizuki playtime. A lot of that comes down to really nailing the chain shots here. So if Innigan sticks on this, Winston could find himself CC'd in some of these fights.
Uh-oh, yeah, the dive. It's going to be great to protect themselves on this Mizuki, but I'm looking at Stella Luna, not because that's an Italian name and I'm an Italian myself, but the Mei is going to help against this Winston as well, right? As soon as they dive in, block him off, make sure he can't retreat, and then, you know, chain him to the ground and take him down. So these teams are posturing over this middle point. Let's see who gets the robot first.
Yeah, and this is very much a meta composition here from Amatori. It's a blow up the tank composition, right? It is exactly that. Like, Innigan is just, the plan is to make them have a very bad time.
See, Winston, one of my favorite tanks, they're jumping onto the high ground, utilizing the architecture so fantastically, but this Cassidy is also here to play bodyguard for the backline too, the Tracer hunting for maybe an entry point here, but the robot will go for Zerial first.
Bit of a progress here. And no kills have come through just yet. It's all about finding the positioning here. Everyone playing so safe, but that is a big first pick here for Amatori.
Ooh, and they were waiting, the patience, the discipline for Amatori, waiting for the right time to strike the scientist down, and now their turn to push the robot forward. They're able to get some better meters on the board. They'll get a ton of progress off of this. And do you think Zerial, do they go for a change here, Rain?
I feel like Anakin is just going to have such a hard time on this Winston. I mean, you're looking at the dive potential targets here for Amatori, and it's not looking good here. Yeah. Both of these supports have movement cooldowns, and both of these DPS are going to have that anti-dive capability. Not to mention all that poke damage available from the Sigma.
And okay, if your backline is doing this, how do you even coordinate a dive with the Tracer? And Anakin just getting a fist to the face by Stella Luna, and the kill feed littered in red. They are moving this bot.
I am also a big fan of the Winston, but just gonna be so hard to play into this. Zerial are going to at least have that override protocol from Akioto to work with, but this checkpoint is going to be picked up by Amatori here, so they get those forward spawns, and they have a way better ult economy to work with, so even when Zerial push into this, you're gonna be walking into both those DPS ults and that Kitsune rush from Zinzev.
Yeah, very dangerous indeed, and a face full of rock for Hinnigan once again. The overriding protocol may be a touch late to turn the tides of this fight. Sticking on a little bit of HP is the Turkish agent. Will find one, but will it be enough to turn the tide? Matt Berger is standing tall on top of the robot and will make sure it does not move an inch. Finally, a couple of kills for the blue side go their way. They're moving the bot now.
Yeah, and that's really good value because they did just commit that override protocol in, but everybody from Amatori is still benefiting from those forward spawns, and they didn't commit a single ult, so they're walking in with 5 ready to go.
And it's so scary for them. Oh, let's see how they coordinate. Not overspent. So many times we just see everyone press the ultimate button and go forward, but it's the Kitsune rush to start us off. The spirits guiding them to victory. The Suzu to keep the backline alive for now, and now it's the scientist. He can't find any purchase. Has to go back to the drawing board. A Gravitic Flux. That one will whiff, and the Sanctuary dropped, and that's exactly what we didn't want to see. 3 ultimates used.
Yeah, that's a big investment here from Amatori. They do end up winning the fight, and at least they hold on to both those DPS ultimates, which will be big for the next fight. However, that Blizzard, it's going to be hard to land onto many players here. So again, it's going to be a focus onto Imogen, who does have that Primal Rage to try and survive through this next engagement.
So maybe they'll find some purchase on the dive, right? Because if they'll get the second life, if you will. We'll see how they approach this. The Tracer getting found out on the flank and getting taken down. Here's the Deadeye from a great angle. Can they find one? It will be in again. This monkey cannot find anything. Unfortunate for the tank once again.
Yeah, and that Deadeye, of course, it just does such a big burst of damage. You don't have time to hit the Q button. You don't get that Primal Rage off. So Zerial holding on to that. There's 4 ults here for them to work with, but they've just been getting picked off one by one. They haven't been able to find the positioning to use them.
To work together. It's a team game after all. The Blizzard not utilized just yet, so no Christmas here in the streets of New Queen Street. But this is a nice off angle from Zim. I've casted them a couple of times before. A great player getting back to the side of their tank, and the teams are just vying for some positioning. It's back and forth and back and forth. Who will fall first? It will be Akioto. The Turkish agent will fall again. The silvering gun of the Cassidy strikes true, and now it's the Winston who will dive in and find his opposite number finally, but a snow globe planted on the point to make sure this bot doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and blue team have an opportunity. Zerial, though, don't have the numbers to try and capitalize on that 6 HP, but Frost is still alive here, and Amatori still hanging on, trying to get a little bit more progress on the spot.
Rain, this is real. They used everything. They have no ultimates now, and so how can they defend this oncoming point? Another Deadeye for Frost, and we know how accurate they can be. So a little forward momentum now for the blue side, but they've got a long way to go.
They sure do, and they're going to have to walk into this Kitsune rush of Zimziv. Amatori do not want to give up any space on this bot here. Nice little opening pick here from Zerial. They need to make more, though.
They sure do, and getting one pick, that's great, but they need to find a few more. A change from the Lucio over to the Wu Yang. I like this, a touch of extra damage, but can't get through the Sanctuary, and now the Gravitic Flux in tandem will claim two. It's a double kill for the Scientist. This is the Sigma going rampant out here in the streets.
Yeah, absolutely a fantastic use of the ultimates here for Amatori, and Dabmaster also notably over on the Symmetra now, so just not necessarily feeling the synergy through Zerial right now. They do still have that Deadeye to work with. Maybe you have the Sim TP to try and get a bit of an angle here on Amatori, but Deadeye on the side of Frost as well, so Zerial not going to be able to take this one for free.
Oh my gosh, this Frost guy, they are so accurate. My goodness, shot after shot connecting. Rose Dog could not escape this hammer from the Cowboy, and now onto him they go. They know this is the dangerous man, but the Deadeye in tow is what they're trying to get expended. It is the teleporter that has been leveraged to move the team to and fro. However, the bot is saying pick a direction please for sure, because it's being teeter-tottered back and forth. Frost will fall finally. That's a big pick off for them. They need a little bit more. I'm looking for the ultimates to be expended. Who will strike first? A nice ice wall to delay the advance just a little bit. The Symmetra is working now, Rain.
I love this disengage that Amatori keeps doing, though. They still have the forward spawn, so as long as everybody can get out alive, they're going to be able to get another fight towards the middle of the point here. And like you mentioned, ult ready to go here for Zerial, so Amatori want to try to force some of those out before ceding that forward spawn.
Ooh, the Sim is buzzing. I'm hearing the bees out in New Queen Street. That's a great rundown of the tank, bro. I am so bad, says Matt Berger, as he knows he fell to the Sim in the bot. Gaining some momentum here for the team in blue.
Okay, this is big for Zerial because they didn't commit anything into that, but they are down Akioto and that Blizzard been expended here, so it forces out the Primal Rage. See if Inigan can try and find an elim with this, or if it's just for survival.
Looks like it's just for survival, but maybe this Kiriko found out. Ah, the Swift Step. It's always in the toe of the Ninja Warrior for sure. She will retreat now to the rest of her team, and that will force the retreat horn sound for Zerial. That was a good push. They got some meterage, but they need to get more 4 ultimates for this next fight.
Yeah, and importantly also, they did take that forward spawn away now, so this is really a must-win fight because they need to make some progress on this barrier. I like the disengage. You just gotta be ready to go in, and they are not ready to go in.
Oh, they certainly not. Another rock to the noggin there. That's a great shot. The Gravitic Flux blings him up and brings him down. That's a big ultimate from the tank once again, but can he sustain through this fight? The Sanctuary will do just that. It's the bulk of the healing going through, and that's a great use of the ultimate to keep the tank alive, but that is a pretty expensive one for the side in red.
Yeah, and another kill here from Frost to open things up. That Deadeye ready to go for the Cassidy, and this barrier moving forward. That Deadeye essentially zoning here as Inigan forced to move over onto the Reinhardt to try and get a touch.
Oh, can they do it in time? The wall will block him off. Now the Crusader must get in there with the help of the Fox Spirit. The Kitsune is certainly guiding them now. A nice fire strike to try to pick off some members as they retreat, but still the kill feed in red. Amatori, they have all the momentum with them. They are on a roll, on fire in this one. They're holding the spawn room doors as well. You feel like it's all said and done. Even a Widowmaker switch to try to do something desperate, and a full-on completion here in Canada.
Yeah, great stuff here from Amatori. I mean, they just kept up the aggression, and they had excellent kites out of the engages that Zerial were trying to put together. And I think that, unfortunately for Zerial, that the Winston composition, it was just, they were trying really hard to make it click, but it just wasn't happening. Amatori just had their number on every engagement here. So although we saw a couple of fights go the way of Zerial, really did feel like New Queen Street was in the hands of Amatori.
Just a touch disjointed on the dive, right? If the Winston and the Tracer are working together, that you can pick off targets. But I did like the switches to the Symmetra, to the Cassidy there at the end, but then maybe a tank to help protect them, maybe go the Reinhardt earlier, match the Sigma, or do something to get some of those characters forward and then allow them to do the damage. But we'll see, right? There's still more left in this one.
Yeah, exactly. This does, of course, mean that Amatori are going to be at that match point now. It's a 1-2, so Zerial needs to clap back with a win here, and I do think it's possible. I think that they can kind of try to work with more of a dive composition on some of a different map. I do think that out of all of the Flashpoint, or all of the push maps, I do think that New Queen Street's probably going to be the toughest one to try and run that dive. You just don't have as much high ground to kind of work with, so that composition might work a little bit better for them on one of these next maps.
Will go to Flashpoint, and Zerial, they'll have the opportunity to pick the map and also do the first ban. So they have some advantages here. So hopefully they can find something, and this is where that communication comes in. Rain, yes, your new team working together, but you have to communicate and talk about your preferences. Where do we want to go? What characters can I play? What will fit us best? But when it comes to Flashpoint, is there a map that you like?
I'm a big Sarabasa fan. I've always been a you know, it's funny because I remember when they announced that they were going to rework Sarabasa, which is so long ago now, I was really nervous because I was like, there has never been a map where it has been released and I've immediately loved it. Never. Sarabasa was that map for me, though. I have loved it, and I love it after the rework as well. I don't think I'm alone in that. I feel like a lot of players do like Sarabasa. And I'm looking at the map pool, and of course, there's only 3 Flashpoint maps, so they're all going to be on the table here. I feel like Sarabasa is going to be the best one for dive as well. You know, Atlas has a lot of those really hard corners to work with. New Junk City also, it's really hard to kind of navigate that map on a Winston, so I'm feeling like Sarabasa's got to be the pick.
Yeah, it was the pick in the previous match, and Amatori, they know how to play that map as well, so we will see. I like Sarabasa too. I was a big fan of New Junk City first, and then the more I played Sarabasa, I was like, I love the aesthetic, I love the vibe, I love some of the, like, going down into the ruins and then into the gardens. Like, it's such a fluid map. It feels so cohesive, which is a lot of fun. So we'll see, but I also want to see if we have any bans coming through, right? Let's see if there's any adjustments for their team. Maybe a Winston ban is in order for Amatori.
Yeah, and I think that Zerial are probably going to be suspecting that. So if I'm them, I'm going for a tank ban. I'm going for a Sigma ban because that's going to take that off of the table, and it's going to protect ban that Winston as well. So I really do think that, yeah, pick Sarabasa, ban the Sigma. You can play heavy into your dive composition because right now Amatori look very, very comfortable on that Sigma comp. They're cycling through the cooldowns really, really well. So the Sigma is just living for extended periods of time. That's really the beauty of kind of this Sigma plus Mei plus the Mizuki and the Kiriko as well. Everybody has the potential to just survive, and as long as your team can do that, you're gonna have a good time.
Right, and that kind of helps if you are a new team, right? You can play individually, but also together at the same time with some of those characters that have the self-sustain, self-mobility, etc. But we are going to New Queen Street. From Canada to down under Australia is where we travel to next, okay? You mentioned the Winston might not be too good for this. We'll see what adjustments they make as we head over to the bans.
Yeah, I think especially as you head into the first point of New Junk City, you know, this is going to be the kind of the brawl point where there's heavy choke points to get in. There's even kind of like the cage around. There's basically no high ground to kind of work with, except for unless you want to try and force a fight on point, which nobody really wants to do here. So I am expecting that if we're going to New Junk City, no matter what ban you come through with here, I don't see Zerial playing the dive comp here. So we're going to have to see a pretty big adjustment from them.
For whatever reason, Malga just keeps like popping up into my brain. Is that where what we're gonna do here? I feel like the Malga slop is kind of on the table, but off the table will be the Sigma as predicted.
Yeah, big ban here. I do think that that's very smart. I do think that the Malga could be an option here for sure. Definitely, we're in a time right now where it feels like there are a lot of kind of tanks that you can actually play that are viable, which is maybe, you know, that's kind of refreshing, I think. Tracer going to be off the table as well, so another hero that, you know, going to get a lot of value on these big wide open maps. So that is going to take away from the dive, though. If Zerial did want to somehow try and force it, they're going to have to find another way here, but know. I feel like I'm kind of rooting for the Mauga comp.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it too. Mauga, Symmetra, Cassidy, it could work. I guess. Let's see what the backline is put together there. The Wu Yang was getting in some damage towards the end, but didn't have enough to build up to the title blast and really trying to turn, because that would help with the Winston too, right? Dive, get the blast, bowl everybody over, and find some eliminations from there. So I saw the vision, just didn't get the percentage online to work it. So okay, lots of opportunity, and that's what I love about this league. And I love about the state of the game right now. There's so many different ways that you can go with it. We haven't seen that Cat Bastion just yet, though. Maybe it's the time.
It could be. I do think, New Junk City, it's going to be tough for it, but yeah, not entirely impossible. You'd have to kind of get through the first point on New Junk City and then maybe move on to the ones that are a little bit more open to try and run that Cat Bastion. You want to have a little bit of skybox to work with, I think. I do have to say, I think that Amatori's Mei composition is still going to be pretty viable here on New Junk City. Pretty much no matter what point you go to on this map, there is somewhere where you can put up a wall, separate a tank, and Amatori have the opportunity to maybe still run that Mizuki as well. So it's definitely still going to be a tough battle here for Zerial to make sure that their tank stays alive.
Let's say they are running the Mei. How do you counter that? Is that your dive target? Is that someone you try to beat out at range? I mean, what would be the strategy there, Rain?
Yeah, definitely. Range battle is going to fit really nicely here. It's also about baiting a lot of those cooldowns. So having kind of a flanker that can put some pressure onto the Mei. Now, of course, it's not going to be the Tracer since that's banned out here. But if you have something like a Genji, or even if you have one of your supports, you can send your Kiriko on a bit of an angle here. Try and force out some of those cooldowns from the Mei, because she is a very kind of ability-focused DPS. Yeah, that wall and the ice block, really, really important in her kit to make sure that she can kind of stay alive. So doesn't seem like we are going to be getting the Mei. Instead, looking like a Zarya matchup, which could be pretty fun.
Ooh, so I remember back in the day, it was like 2017 or whatever. I was like, you know what? This is a 3-star character. I'm gonna learn. I just played Zarya for like 3 months straight. I fell in love with this character.
Whoa,
I
you just gave me such a flashback.
Rain, I'm old. Don't let the people know.
I totally forgot that there were stars assigned to the difficulty of the hero. Oh, that's wild. I love that.
So yes, the Zarya matchup, I love it too. Let's see how the Russian weightlifters decide to elevate their teams in this one. And as predicted, the Genji is on the board, but no Mei, so we'll see who their flanking target is. We'll have the Reaper of Souls mirror match on this side. We'll see what the shotgun blasts will do, and the first pick will go the way of the Sojourn. That's probably what was banned out in the first game.
Yeah, making a lot of sense now, I think, here. And Zimzip out of the mix. That's so dangerous here for Amatori. So this is a fantastic start here for Zerial. Just gotta finish off. Isol will send her back to the spawn. And that's gonna be the first percentage going the way of Zerial here. And I do really like the sticking with the Lucio Kiriko backline. The Juno in the mix here for Osiren, it definitely is very helpful in having that speed ring, but having the aura speed for everybody in the area to work with is just going to give you that little extra edge as, well, Philly, the Mei has made an appearance.
We were waiting for it. So Essel, she is like newer to the BPL, has only played on a few teams here or there, so let's see how she adjusts to a new squad in Season 8. But there's this difference between the Juno and the Lucio in terms of that speed and how players can run each other down. And speaking of being run down, this Zarya is charged up and ready to go. Will find one pick off with the help of the Reaper, but look at the ult percentage here, Rain. This Graviton Surge is just about ready to blow.
Yeah, Dabmaster building this up pretty rapidly here, and with the burst damage that's available from that Reaper, you might not even need the Death Blossom here. So this is going to be a bit of a scramble to the point of Amatori do want to try to go for the recontest.
And they will have a chance as they are halted in their tracks. The Graviton Surge connects onto 4, locks them all into place, and they go tumbling over like dominoes, and it will be Vainker to clean them up with those Hellfire shotguns.
I love this from Zerial. All right, they are fighting back here. They want to tie this series up, force that map number 3. It's a good start for them, only committing that Graviton Surge in, and they're going to get the positional advantage here as we head over into Ducks. Now, Amatori have Frost over on this Sojourn as well, so you're not going to have that same frontline presence of that Reaper plus Zarya.
Okay, I'm hearing the Kitsunes from both sides. The Helix is crisscross, and so are the Pixels, as all the ultimates fly here. Rain and the kill feed will go in red. It is Matt Berger who is leading the charge. They'll give up the space on the point here, Ziriel, and they'll be blocked off. That's exactly what we were looking for. Good fight win for the team in red.
Yeah, love that. It was very expensive. I will say, yeah, you know, both support alts and that grab committed in. They did win it out, though, and they actually, I got a lot of alts out of Serial as well. So we're looking at kind of the matchup of the DPS ultimates right here. Akioto, with that overclock, you're going to have a little bit more of an advantage going into the Blizzard, because that Blizzard is going to be looking to kind of lock down one specific area. So as long as Akioto can play on a flank here, you should be able to get value.
Ooh, the sneaky snowball. I love when players do that, and it's an icicle lobotomy. A shot to the back of the head takes down Tab Master, and that was a clean play from this new squad in League A. They'll hold on to the point.
Yeah, I love that from Isol. She pushes aggressively. I think that Amatori probably called out that Akioto was on that flank, so you cannot give that Sojourn time to get set up to use that overclock. So even though the overclock comes out, Akioto just doesn't have any targets to shoot at.
Whoa, okay, Frost, maybe a touch overextended there, Frost, and now Amatori go into this fight a person down. The flank is great from the Reaper, forces out those cooldowns like you mentioned. That's their primary target. Get rid of this Mei. Now the overtime wick will burn, and so Vayne will make sure the trigger will go their way as they look for another flank.
Alright, the cooldowns are forced out from the Reaper here, and the Zarya so low. Tab Master getting a touch, but is he going to be able to stay alive? No, he's not.
Uh-oh, that's a bulk of the HP off the board. Rain, what are they to do? And the DPS must do the lifting now. Hopefully they've been trained up by the Russian. We'll see if they can keep the point in their favor. Right now, Matt Berger is dominating the server, looking onto the bridge, getting very close to that Graviton Surge. Might have a chance to let it fly.
Yeah, right now if you're Serial, I mean, you have to try and match ultimates here if you want to hold on to this point. Already Simsif coming out with that Kitsune Rush. Seems to be like the disengage from Serial. I like this later rush from Silver Pulse.
Oh, let's see if that is the one that wins them, and the Graviton Surge will make sure they can't utilize it, but Akioto will rip through the battlefield, the rail cannon doing all of the work, and Dab Master is here to put him 6 feet under.
Yeah, team kill here as Ziriel managed to hold on here. And of course, at 99%, Amatori just needed to win one fight. And now they are facing a potential map point here as Ziriel going to pick up Dux. And we're going to be heading to a third point here on New Junk City. Silvertall's going to get caught in the little rotation there. But nice trade coming through from Ziriel. And they have 4 ultimates to work with on this next one. That grab plus Kitsune Rush from Amatori committed into that last point is going to be rough here as we move over to Junkyard. And this is where there is going to be that little bit of high ground to use. So we're going to be keeping an eye on these Sojourns for these overclocks.
Hopefully they're ending it now here, Ziriel, as they are putting in the overclock and putting in the work. A Soundberry now committed on top of the Graviton Surge. It's just a treasure trove of ultimates expended in this fight. The Orbital Ray in desperation, but won't keep anybody alive as 2 will fall. That is a point take for Team in Blue.
Yep, gonna start building percentage here once again. And yeah, like you mentioned, Philly, so many ults thrown into that fight. So once again, we're looking at a DPS ult apiece here. This Blizzard from Isol, she's been good at just focusing down Dab Master. So you're gonna probably look for that.
Oh, that was so close. Just didn't have the HP pool to let the snowball fly. And now with all their cards on the table, caught in an awkward position is Matt Berger. And in the coffin is now where he lays, following up on the Juno. We haven't talked too much about that character, the Martian. Not a lot of impact.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, the Orbital Rays are a very, very good fight win ultimate, but they've been used late in a lot of these fights. And Ziriel, because they have that Lucio and you have this consistent speed that's always happening, you just rush past, force a fight off of that Orbital Ray. So Amatori's just not really benefiting from the ultimate as much as they could. But they do have that Kitsune Rush, a doorway in perhaps.
Let's see, Snowball now let fly the 6th member onto the battlefield, but they just zoom on out of there. Rose Dog doing everything to keep their team alive now. Counter Kitsune Rush every time. It's been the 2nd from Silvertails, and they are getting all of the value for it. The overtime wick will burn, but not for long as every member down for Amatori. We're going to game 3.
And what a decisive New Junk City here from Ziriel. They struggled on New Queen Street. But this was their map pick here, and they absolutely made it count. They look so good on this Zarya Reaper composition. And Akioto on the Sojourn, of course, popping off with all of the overclocks, but also just getting so much value in the neutral fight.
Yeah, just the shot after shot there. Look at that, just from the high ground, shooting fish in a barrel of all things. Kill after kill. My word, there's a reason they banned the Sojourn in that first match.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, that Sojourn ban is not going to be out of the picture, or it's out of the picture now. So
Yeah.
Amatori are going to have to deal with a Sojourn potentially as we head into that decider map number 3.
Rain, I gotta get your opinion. It looks like we've got a bird battle over here. It looks like a little duck, and then maybe is it like a robin or something? I can't tell what the icon is over there for Zerial.
I don't know. Maybe
Chat, help us out.
It's okay. I think it's like a bird of prey with these like feathers, like maybe a falcon. Maybe
Could be. Okay. Maybe it's like the tail looks like a swallow almost a little bit.
I just don't go outside enough to answer this question. I'm just gonna be so real.
Instead of touching grass, it's got to be like, look at the sky or something.
Sky. I feel like we're old enough that we're gonna start birding soon. I hear that that's like the next step in life is that you get into birding. So you know we're getting there.
That's right. Well, friends, it's been an ecstatic series so far. It's back and forth, but one more match to decide who moves on to the finals for tomorrow and potentially gets 1, the kickoff tournament accolade, and 2, a chance to decide some of the divisions and how the teams are laid out. So, Rain, a lot on the line for both of these squads.
Yeah, it definitely is. This is just the beginning of the season, so we have so much more action to get through, and I think that being one of the teams that gets to have a say in that action, that is a really, really big bonus to have. So we are going to be going over to Control for our third and final map of this series, and of course, it is going to be Amatori that's going to get to select where we go for that one.
It's gonna be Legion Tower, because I feel like that's where we go all the time, and it's like a running joke between the BPL, the CGL that you and I also cast in, and many other Overwatch leagues. It's just like, that's everybody's favorite. That's just, you can play anything on it, just go to it.
Yes, our producer letting us know that there was one Oasis map pick at one time, so power to the team that selected Oasis. I'm sure that your opponent was very upset. You know, everybody's prepared for Lijiang Tower, and that is kind of a benefit, but also sometimes be a little bit of a con where you're not going to be able to really get the upper hand in terms of, you know, familiarity and practice, because every team is going to be on that map. So it's really just a matter of kind of like going all in, that you trust that your team is more prepared for this map than the other team.
And like we said, these are teams that are just formed, right? Yeah, some of these players have played together on other squads, but you're piecing in new members, new friends, and so you still have to work together. And so going to somewhere comfortable that everyone kind of knows how to play or what composition might be best for you makes sense for Lijiang Tower. Let's just say it's Lijiang Tower, but let's move on to the bans there, Rain. You think, like, okay, you can't go for the Sojourn. The Sigma's already out. What do you think they go to next?
Yeah, it is a good question. And it's also really interesting that both of these teams have gone for the same role bans in map number 1 and 2. Usually we see a little bit more, I think, diversity in kind of the roles that get targeted out, especially I'm looking at Amatori. The DPS role, I feel like, is so seldom banned unless it is that protect ban, because there's just so many DPS heroes that you can just pop a different one in the composition and you're still going to be able to run it pretty much the same way. So I think that Amatori having this map pick, and of course having the ban as well, I would like to see them move away from a DPS ban. I would like to see them move towards maybe a tank ban here. Maybe you don't want to take that Zarya matchup. Definitely looked like Dabmaster was doing a lot of damage on New Junk City. But that being said, if Lijiang Tower could be a Cat Bastion map as well. So if Amatori didn't want to play that, could maybe see a Bastion ban.
Hey, very interesting. And yeah, the support role is not one we've touched on too much. And the supports have been great. Don't get me wrong. Great saves, a lot of healing, ultimate usage and stuff. But it just hasn't been like that's been the deciding factor, where it's just like we've got to get rid of the Kiriko. But Kiriko is also a very safe bin. Usually if you get rid of the Kiriko, that's fine. But you may want to play it yourself because folks are a lot comfortable on that character to start. But the Lucio, they didn't play it Amatori, which means maybe they don't have a Lucio player. So getting that one off the board could be clutch.
And I think that, I kind of mentioned that all of the teams are going to be prepared to play on Lijiang Tower, and so many of the times, it's going to involve a Lucio here. So if you're a team that is comfortable not running the Lucio, getting a Lucio ban on a control map is a really, really big kind of shakeup for your opponent here. So I think that that's a pretty good call out. And I think that running that Mizuki Kiriko on Lijiang Tower definitely is very viable. And then, to be worried about that aura, speed, and heal.
Or farming for sure, and they won't pair it up with the Zarya. She is taken off the board. They took your advice, Rain. You must be in the coaching staff with them. And then it will be the Mei. It was causing some problems, so they take the Ice Queen off the board.
I love both these bans. I think that it's super smart from both of the teams here, and them kind of taking a page out of the other team's book. We'll ban the tank, you ban the DPS, everything's good. But I do wonder what Zuriel is going to show us without that Zarya in the mix, because of course we saw the Winston from them on New Queen Street, and you could potentially try and force it here on Lijiang Tower, but I really don't think that you're going to have a very good time with it, even with that Mei banned out. So it's going to be pressure on Zuriel to try and make an adjustment, I think specifically in their tank line, to get a good match here on Lijiang.
So Lijiang is the pick. We did see the graphic, but I read it in the chat from our producer.
We
of
knew.
course, we have knock on wood. That's everybody knew. It was no secret there. But I do have to thank our production staff as always. Rain, we can't be there without them, and so our knock on wood, who's producing the show tonight, and then our plethora of observers. Right, they are here, ready and willing to capture all the action. We've got Thorthea, we've got Riptide, we've got Orange, we've got so many folks that there's too many to mention. So thank you to all of our staff here for the BPL tonight.
Yes, and again, everybody, this is just the beginning, so there is going to be so much more BPL, so many more BPL streams. We do have another match following this one, so even after this, there's more action. And then, of course, Sunday will be the conclusion of the Kickoff tournament, so it is a fantastic weekend to spend some time watching BPL.
And not watching the sky or the clouds or birds.
We're not even concerned about birds. We're not.
It is nighttime.
We only care about the pigeons in Overwatch.
That's right. Well, let's see what they go for. It looks like we'll have a sub for Amatori, and it will be Oracle who is in. And now we're out again. Sorry, but I did see Lucio.
You're catching me laughing. I'm like, we have 5 observers. This is sick. This is a professional level, honestly, so impressed. But I guess a bit of a pause here. So I do know that there have been some issues with the servers, specifically in this kind of scrim block, that people have just been getting kicked randomly from custom games. So I'm hoping that's not what's happened here. But if it is what happened, at least it's at the very beginning. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, managing a lot of folks over there is knock on wood. They're used to some of that hecticness, but we thank Observer, because observers are always hard to find, Rain. Casters just come out of the woodwork, but observers, difficult. We appreciate them.
Yes, 100%. And all right, guess we're back in here. Winston and Dr. Winston.
Oh, so cute. We're seeing the Malga. We were calling for it. We wanted it. Zuriel, they're posturing over it. On the flip side, though, we are seeing the tried and true Kiriko Lucio backline.
And, okay, Matt Berger, you had me there. You actually had me. I was like, okay, Doomfist time. But, hey, that Sigma back in the mix here. So Amatori are going to go back over onto that Sigma composition. No Mei, so Eagle going to be over on the Genji here. And I think that, again, Zuriel's going to have to move very quickly on this Mauga composition, because that poke damage is going to come in quickly from Amatori.
They have to be decisive, Rain. You're absolutely right. Pick a target and go, and they surely did. That's Akioto, who's been cleaved in 2, but it's Vayne who finds a clap back immediately. The substitute put back on the bench. Matt Berger, he's looking like the one that wants to dive in, going right toe-to-toe with the Malga, but the rest of the team is falling around him, and no, they are getting the kills. There we go. The team in red will cap it first.
All right, yeah, good percentage here for Amatori, and I think especially where you have the Sigma composition, you want to be kind of playing up around this choke. Yeah, they're going to push all the way up here. So Zuriel are going to make that swap, so Akioto over onto the Cassidy. So this is so much frontline presence for Zuriel. They really do just need to kind of charge in there, get the damage in. It's going to be kind of a find a target and just get the stomp, the CC, and ready to go.
It's nice work from the Reapers, really holding down the flank. I almost thought I heard a Death Blossom, like it's way too early for that, but not for the Gravitic Flux as 3 go up and 2 go down. The tank will fall, and the Samoan will be back to the gray screen, and that is just free reign for the team in red to run rampant.
It's such a tough matchup to play the Sigma, or play the Mauga into the Sigma, because you're really counting on that cardiac overdrive to give you the HP steal to sustain through these fights, and the Sigma is able to, you know, cycle through the shield and then the kinetic grasp, that you're denying so much of that cardiac overdrive.
That's a really good point. Yeah, the grass just absorbs all the bullets and you're not getting the lifesteal, the overhealth, and so that's disastrous. But so too could this Kitsune Rush, as now it's leveraged onto the point, and that is the Stampede boost they need to flip it in their favor. Finally, some percentages go their way, but the battle is not over yet. Rain as another Kitsune Rush late this time from Amatori, but it's exactly what the Doctor or they're the ones rushing in, and so many members low, and it's an Ajax. No, it does connect. A bunch of folks do get the overhealth. I think Rose Dog is the one that got Ajax there, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for Serial, yeah, they get 20% on the board here, but it is going to be a tough fight back in here. They do have the blender combo here between the Death Blossom and the cage fight, so it's just going to be a matter of trying to get a couple of members into that cage fight. Isol has that blade ready to go, and that beat now off of the table here, so the blade could be essentially free. You just gotta avoid getting stunned up by that Cassidy.
So that might be a primary target for him, and there is the cage fight, but the Gravitic Flux fought right into it. The blender has been turned on, and it finds some success. A double kill for the Reaper of Souls. They still need to clean up the mess, however, that they made. One more member will do it, but the percent is ticking in their favor. This is just a stall for time. They will finally clean it up and cap it their way.
Yeah, that's a 98% here. Amatori, one fight win, and they'll be able to put a point on the board here on Lijiang Tower. They held on to that blade as well, but the Kitsune Rush advantage in the hands of Silvertalls here, so an opportunity for Serial to hold on a little longer.
Uh-oh, the slice and dice, the Sushi Master letting the blade fly, but there's no support to it because you don't have any barrier, so you can just get denied and that blade will go awry, but it does force out the Kitsune Rush, a key ultimate no longer available.
It's really important here, but Serial haven't quite been able to build anything else up. They do get the Dead Eye online, and it's going to be triggered right away, trying to buy time for this percentage to build up.
Ooh, scurrying, hiding for cover. We're Amatori. No one gets picked off there. That is clutch. Running for cover for them, but now the charge through, and the Sound Barrier this time does connect on all 5 members. This is what they need. The Beyblade let rip for the side of Frost. He will claim 1, but will go down to his opposite number, and still sturdy on the point is Zero. They feel like once they have it, they won't let it go.
Yeah, exactly, and they're doing a good job so far, but 3 ults coming online here for Amatori. They just need a quick reset, and then they need to make sure they get this touch in. But Serial looking for some late kills here, and they just might get it.
Dabmaster swagging on him, got the stomp, and then turned, as soon as the grass came out, Randy turned his sights to the other person and took down the Reaper. That was good, and the boop! No, it's huge!
Whoa, Rostock making up, or Rostock falling off. Actually, Oracle going to be able to get that double kill, and that's the opening here for Amatori to touch the point. There is overtime, but Serial just not going to be able to make it back.
Rose, the substitute, with a game-saving play, takes down 2, and it's an easy turn of the point. Wow, what a back-and-forth affair.
Absolutely love to see the Lucios popping off on Lijiang Tower. Oracle, yeah, I think she actually built up her ult just from knocking off the Mauga because of how much HP has just gone down into the drain. But all right, good start here. You know, Matt Berger, Sigma with the 1 death here, and we were talking about how back and forth that control center map was, and to only have 1 death. I mean, Amatori is doing a really great job disengaging from a lot of these fights.
Glad you mentioned Matt. I mean, they are a pretty decorated person themselves. They're a Snow 23 champion. They've been on a number of different teams. They know how to play, and 10,000 damage in 1 round, Rain? That's insane coming out from the Sigma, not to mention 13,000 in mitigated damage, so really doing a lot for their team. But let's see how they handle it now on this second round of Lijiang. Immediately out of the mech goes Dab Masters, and that's a disastrous start for the team in blue.
Yeah, you're essentially down your tank right now, so Azuriel are kind of sticking in this fight, but now you're actually down your tank. A couple of trades come through here. The point's going to open up, though, and Amatori are going to have the numbers to get the first flip, most likely. It is Vayne Crystal kind of lurking around on this Reaper, but is going to be able to get out alive there. And, you know, I do like Dabmaster moving over onto the D.Va here. I do think that defense matrix is going to maybe help you stay alive. Does he get up? Oh, he made it back out.
Okay, I thought that was another boop rain. That would have been nasty. But so was that a deflection right back, and Dabmaster almost looking like Kirby right back at you. And the teams will fall left and right bodies, littering the garden floor here on Lijiang. And it will be Vayne who's collected enough souls to stand tall on the point, potentially cap it. But the reinforcements for the red side have come to stay, and they won't give up for the point.
Yeah, and Matt Burger's using that perk from the Sigma very, very well. You gotta float into the air there, so you're able to get in through the window. So really great recontest coming through. Has that Gravitic Flux to work with here. Kitsune rushes for both teams. Azuriel gonna try to use it to cross this bridge.
The Helixes will crisscross once more. There's so much box power on the map, but who will use it the best? Uh-oh, the Gravitic Flux puts Akioto in the prime position for the Deadeye to find some leverage, and he'll net too. And that's a tidal wave of blue in the kill feed for Azuriel. They cap the point.
That is a smart use of the Deadeye from Akioto. Yeah, you basically get the high ground there. Also, a lot of trust in your supports to make sure that you're going to stay alive through that. So Silvertul's making sure that Deadeye did get off in time. So a good amount of percentage here for Amatori. And especially they're building up towards this beat. They are leading in that beat ult charge quite a bit here. So they have an opportunity to go in fairly fast, but they're going to be walking into that Death Blossom.
The Deadeye is what I was looking at. Rain is like, is that going to be their win condition for this fight? But it maybe is the lethal support duo who will find a pick. They need to find a little bit more, though. There's still some HP bars left on the point. Matt Burger standing tall, shield grasp, keeping everybody at bay. This D.Va has not found the primary target to take anybody down, and Frost, it's not the Deadeye, it's the Silver Bullets that have hunted a few members down. It's a nice sound barrier from Oracle, seeing the future of victory. Dabmaster right in everybody's face, but gets taken off the board. The mech in the drink.
Oh, another great boop coming through from Oracle, and it's going to allow the point flip to come through. A little bit of a stall here. Actually, reinforcements have arrived from Zerial, so they are very much trying to draw this out as much as they can, get that percentage.
And take out the ultimates too if you can. The Gravitic Flux must be applied to win this fight, and still they hold on to it. There's so much speed in terms of this team, and now it's a D.Va bomb on the point. Will not connect onto anybody. They duck and run for cover just in time, and the point will go their way.
Yeah, fantastic stall there coming through from Zerial. Unfortunately, did commit some of their own ultimates into it, so they're not really going to have a massive advantage coming into this fight, especially where Osiren is going to be able to get that Kitsune Rush online very quickly, and Frost has that Deadeye awaiting, so it's just a matter of waiting out that defense matrix from Dabmaster.
Right, that's still the same Deadeye from the last fight, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're still holding on to it, friend, and now they decide to let it fly in this tight corridor. Can they get it charged up? The defense matrix in perfect position, absorbs every bullet, and now Dabmaster, the Season 7 role star and BPL veteran, finds the kill on the back of this Kitsune Rush and will get a double for themselves, make it 3 on with the Reaper in tow, and that as the overtime wick burns, they'll flip it their way.
All right, just in time here. And once again, it's going to be Amatori looking for one more fight win. Not just to win the point, but to win the map and the series here. They're walking into that Deadeye from Akioto, the only ultimate on the board right now, and running out of time as well, so don't really have a chance to build up any of their own ultimates. They need to win in this neutral fight.
The mad scramble to the point, Rain, and this is where it can get tricky for these squads. There's that high noon you were talking about, and it doesn't make any purchase, finds no connection, are the bullets from this revolver, but Akioto knows he just can win it in the neutral shot after shot. Is it the Lucio in his crosshairs? It's a Deadeye. Where is it? Who will it connect onto? No one is the answer. It was in that tiny room, a sound barrier from Rose Dog, only onto 2. The overtime wick will burn. They have to throw bodies on the point. Amatori at They want to try to turn it around. The Death Blossom could be the one that wins the fight, and splattered against the wall is Vayne. That was well done from the Kiriko as we continue to fight onward. Who is even left? It's Matt Berger who will stand on the point. This is the Roll Star who will flip it.
Easel had 1 HP and she lives and she gets the health pack, and Amatori pick up the point. They win Lijiang Tower, and they will be that first to 2 to claim the series here against Zerial.
Oh my word, Rain, what a scrappy fight. It was hard to keep track. There were bodies flying everywhere. What was going on?
This was a really, really good match. Oh, and we get to witness the Ajax. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But a really great Blossom. And Frost, I mean, Frost looked fantastic on all of the heroes that they played. But yeah, definitely really kind of shining on that Reaper on Lijiang Tower.
Absolutely. So some great things to be said. And, you know, the other thing we didn't really talk about, Rain, for the kickoff tournament is this gives the team something to VOD, right? Oh, let's figure out this, or let's look back about that. Like, did we rotate the right way? Did we scramble onto the point, or do our rollouts the right way, or whatever it may be? So this gives them some footage that they can work with to start off the season strong. So I love the way that we do the kickoff tournament here at the BPL. But yeah, Amatori, they win it. That was a fun match to have. They move on to the finals.
Yeah, Ducks on top here, so big stuff for Amatori. I'm gonna find out that that's actually like a chicken or like I actually can't even get any of the birds right. But yeah, fantastic map 3 banger here, and yeah, moving on to the finals, massive stuff here for Amatori. And again, these are teams that have just come together, and already I'm seeing a lot of synergy between this team and a lot of understanding of the meta and how to run some of these more kind of niche compositions. The Mizuki Mei Sigma comp, it's hard to really kind of nail down. There's a lot of timing that is involved in it, and I think that they did a fantastic job. So I am very excited to see how far these two teams go in Season 8.
Right. Now, Knock, I wonder if we have the bracket available. I would love to show the people where we stand and where Amatori, who they're going up against. If we could pull it up, here we go. So Siren Song may be in the future for them, but they have to work through, was that Phantom Verdict? And I don't even know how to say that. Cloud Darius? That's an interesting name. But there's a lot to go through in League A before they get to the finals.
Yeah, so that will be happening tomorrow. As you can see, 9 p.m. is when our A-League finals are going to be happening here. And again, you know, this is the kickoff, so you get a little bit of a bonus here in having a say in how things are going to shape up for Season 8 as well. So all of these teams, you know, building synergy, getting VOD material, and hopefully getting a say in what Season 8 is going to look like for the groups.
Right. Well, folks, as Rain mentioned, there's still more action here for BPL. We've got the League A to conclude, so that will be happening off screen as we'll switch over to a different league. That'll be Free Fall versus Elvish Soul Knife. Okay, that's a cool name. I like that one. So you definitely want to stick around for more matches at the BPL.
Yeah, it's been so fun to get to cast this one with you, Philly, and everybody make sure you stay tuned because, I mean, this was a really fun match, and I'm sure the next one is going to be a really great one as well. So I hope that you guys stick around, and maybe I'll see you in chat.
That's right. Well, fans, we'll see you right after this.
All right. We're back. Me and Mega last on the cast, ready to do a semifinals for C League. I hope you guys enjoyed that banger of a game that was the last game, but how are you feeling today, Mega?
You know how it is another day. You know, I lost my match yesterday, cried into a pillow, but now we just turn it around. We bring the energy to these matches. Hey, like you said, it happens, but it's a kickoff tournament. We got to celebrate the teams that are still in it, still kicking, as one might say. So we should be in for a good one today.
Yeah, no, and yeah, we're gonna be casting Elvish Soul Knife versus Freefall. My team lost to Elvish Soul Knife in the first round, so it happens though. It happens. Hey, I shall point to the board. We are still the best team here. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. We're still here. That's all that matters, though. We're here to have fun. Kickoff tournament is a blast. I hope you guys have been enjoying it in chat. I know I've been enjoying it, been having it on the screen today. I know we got some NBA Finals action today too. That's thankfully I have like 75 monitors to make everything possible over here. But I'm excited for some Overwatch. These teams have been really solid. I didn't get a chance to watch Freefall's game against, I believe they played Raw. So I didn't get a chance to watch them, but their roster is awesome. I love a lot of the things they have. Lunar was someone I looked at and was potentially going to grab, but Lunar, Keegs, Donk, dude, this is a good roster.
Yeah, some people saying Donk, the steal of the draft, technically getting added in. This is definitely somebody who could have gone to B League, but getting to, sneak in at the last second and, getting to prove their might. But really, this roster all around has some powerhouses on it. Few unknown factors to me specifically, right? I don't fully recognize both Sonic Chronic and Keegs, but I'm sure they're going to be turning it up 2-11 here, because again, they got a nice little chance to make a splash early with a chance to go to finals here with a win on this match.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Keegs. I have actually gotten a little closer after joining the org I'm in for when I played in SPCS, so I got to know Keegs a little bit, and Keegs cool people, so definitely a talented player. And I would like to also note that Jinx on this team is also a very talented player. They have a lot of great DPS, but a lot of these people are very flexible. A lot of these players are very flexible, so that's something else to note on that. But I mean, Elvish has played 2 games already. We'll take a look at their roster. I mean, I've already gotten to witness this firsthand. Don't know why Domina is the choice here and where Domina is located on our screen. Denji has played the No Life, Hazard, and Mauga so far from what I've seen. But Blue also very talented player, awesome with a variety of heroes in the pool for Blue. Very good team here. Aiden, monster. Super is extremely talented too. This is a lot of great players here in the C League roster, and I also think a couple players that, again, like you said, could also be in the B League.
110%. I mean, the BPL talent pool, it just increases each and every time we run these events, so it's just lovely to see that, sometimes people slip and they get to take full advantage of it and really taking advantage. Looking at the bracket, seeing where we've been so far. Freefall only had to play 1 match to get here so far. They got one of those buys in that first round here. Meanwhile, Elvish Soul Knife has been running the gauntlet. Did not have to drop a single map on their way. So, looking pretty solid. I know, I hate to say it because it was against you, but trust me.
It happens.
Listen, it happens. It's kickoff tournament, but one of these teams has to finally lose a map going into this match.
Correct. Listen, I've gotten blown out before in a game, and it happens, dude. It's Overwatch. Sometimes the meta doesn't swing your way. Sometimes the matchups don't swing where you want them to, but you keep learning and you keep adapting. It's the kickoff tournament, right? Some of these teams, like we said it earlier, we genuinely don't have a lot of chemistry with a lot of these players. Like my team, for example, I have literally the 1 scrim plus our match yesterday. That's all the time I've played with literally anyone on my team. So it's a lot of stuff to work with. But I gotta. Denji hit me up. He's like, No Life. Hey, it's all respect to Denji. I love Denji. Cool people, man. I love Denji, but I have to flame him because that's why we're friends. All right, that's how we make these relationships work out. No, this should be a good matchup though, and I would like to note that Elvish Soul Knife also hasn't dropped a point. They 3-0'd on Sarabasa, and then New Junk City, they 3-0'd as well. They haven't dropped a point yet. But we do have some bans coming in and a map choice already. We are going to head to New Queen Street, which is our semifinal mandatory map 1. And our bans are going to be Hazard. They watch tape apparently over there in Free Fall. And Sierra is actually going to get taken out by Elvish Soul Knife.
Like the Hazard ban makes sense. Again, like you said, you watch the tape, you understand exactly what you're going to be going up against, so you just don't want to play against it for map 1. Sierra, I mean, the nice way to put it is it feels like a noob check character, where sort of the character just wants to get a litmus test, like, see, hey, are you paying attention? Are you aware? Because, if you go down to the medal ranks, Sierra, people will be clamoring and praying for those bans every single day of the week here, but as you get higher up, certainly other hit skins can be a little bit more of an issue, like we've talked about previously, right? The Bastion, the Cassidy, both definitely being monstrous menaces here, so interesting to see how that will affect us here on New Queen Street.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to hit scans, Sierra's, depends on how who's in the hands of it, of course, but I've definitely seen more of what we're seeing now. Sojourn was one of my big ones. Definitely expected to see more Soj. Cassidy has been a very good pick lately. But this is a lot what I've saw. We didn't see a lot of Sig in my first matchup. I think immediately was switched over to Hazard very quickly on push as well. This was a very similar matchup. But seeing Wu Yang from blue is definitely not crazy. I got the tail end of that yesterday. So I'm excited to see how they roll out on these and how both of these teams match up as we're underway on New Queen Street. We see them roll out on Mauga for Free Fall.
Yeah, I mean, Mauga already incredibly low, though, having to be careful here. And again, it's going to be the difference in the comps where the Mauga's going to want to engage quickly, but we're already into it with supports traded. Yeah,
we see a couple of supports go down. Jinxed and Chaos are both fallen. So you're losing your Kiriko, which is a little bit more of a loss than your Lucio, but Oh no is going to go down to super, and that just means you're going to have to walk in. Denji's getting really low. Denji's actually going to get taken out. Trigger's going to find a pick. Aiden's going to find Keegs in the back line, and that's going to be, oh my gosh, Trigger finds a second. It's a little bit of a trade fest here, but Super Ronic is going to find, or I'm sorry, Sonic Ronic, I fused both of their names together there, is going to take out Super, and that's going to be actually a win for Free Fall, as they're going to try to advance this bot to tie up this meter percentage.
Yeah, and realizing the Malga is just not going to work into the Sigma, you see Free Fall immediately swap it up over to the Winston. So now it's a full dive composition here. They're going to want to try to commit onto targets, especially that Wu Yang, right? That's going to be the person you want to try to focus down in these engagements. But of course, our favorite waterbender is not going to make that easy.
No, not at all. The poke from Elvish is very, very high here, especially when you're on a Winston. I love seeing Monk as much as the next person. It's going to be definitely a little harder to get that involved, and making sure that you have coordinated dives with Sonic. That is the big thing that you need to do there. But the meter percentage is growing just slightly. Free Fall is taking a 10+ meter lead here. Elvish is trying to find a window in order to attack, but it looks like the Super is getting a lot of pressure from the Winston. Super actually is getting low. Aiden's going to get taken out, losing the 1v1 in this scenario. And Denji's not looking very good either. He's going to get taken out. Jinx is going to find death again, but the rest of the team will do their job, as Super's going to get taken out, followed by Chaos. And it looks like Free Fall's just going to keep on pushing and chugging along.
Yeah, Free Fall's going to be able to keep doing this. I feel like there's so many times we've seen already in this matchup where, we're committing the Tidal Blast. Okay, wanting to get the
it's going to find one. I mean,
yeah, I guess so, but hey, you're back and forth, and now we're also committing Flux.
Yeah, I mean, Trigger's also going to be not only seeing the Flux, but I mean, Ono's gone. You're going to see a ultimate come out for the Overclocked. Denji had to have seen that the Winston was slightly overextended, wanted to get that KO. They're trying to get out. Trigger will get out. Super's going to find Keegs in this, and I think that should be a actual fight win and a turnaround for Elvish. I guess the blue ult was just worth it. It looks like people are calling for a pause. Some connection issues have to be going on here, or maybe some technological problems as always. But hey, so far it's a close. I think it's a pretty close round here over on New Queen Street.
Yeah, only about a 30-meter difference between the two teams here, and you also have to, nobody's gotten that first checkpoint yet, so no forward spawns or anything like that to contest and worry about. And we are really seeing sort of this battle between the dive and the poke, like you were talking about, right? When you have this Wu Yang and the Sojourn just being able to take continuous off angles here, it makes it incredibly difficult for the dive to engage, but when they can, like you saw there, I think most of the pressure surprisingly coming down onto Denji on the Sigma, really making it incredibly difficult for that Sig to live here. So it's one of those guessing games of somebody on your team has to get a kill before the Sig goes down. Otherwise, it becomes a little bit difficult. But as you see, apparently Aiden has entirely frozen.
That's rough. That's a tough situation. Good correction, Prod. Look at y'all attention to detail. Y'all, I saw the typo. Great attention to detail from our production team. Please, chat, make sure we thank our prods. They do a great job week in, week out, making sure that we have a great product for you. We just get to yap. They do all the hard work behind the scenes. So we can't do what we do without those awesome people behind the scenes there. I will say we do actually have a screenshot of what is kind of going on right now, but it looks like teams are and we're about to hop back in. Elvish is 31 meters down, but they are closing that gap right now as we're about to unpause here. You do see the ults now. Support ults for free fall is what I'm really looking at here. What's going to be the big potential difference maker in this fight.
Yeah, exactly. Right. When you have these backline ults, the sustain is going to be a massive factor here, but already rushes on point.
Yeah, both rushes are out, and Oh No is in a little bit of danger here, but so is Jinxed. Both of the free fall, half the team is low, but we're going to see Beat come out, which I think is a great use of Beat now that you are past the Sig ult, but now Overclocked is still online. Chaos is getting incredibly low here. This Winston is providing so much damage. We're going to see an ult come out. The monkey is angry. Wu Yang looking low will actually get away from it. Aiden did get taken down, and you're going to see that the bot is actually moving as well still. They're up to 39, 11 meters down, and they're going to flip it over as the rest of the team is dead and gone. Oh No is going to get taken down by a good shot from Super, but Triggered finds the revenge there, and they're going to flip this back onto their side, hopefully getting that close spawn for Freefall.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the hope here, but Freefall, they almost kind of need to get forward spawns off of this push here. Elvish Soul Knife only investing in the Kitsune Rush now is going to be coming up on a plethora of ultimates, both DPS ultimates with a Gravitic Flux in tow as well here is going to make it incredibly difficult for Freefall to actually win this fight when they're just down in the ult economy so heavily.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that has to happen here is I think Super needs to find one or two with this ult. I think this ult is so incredibly important, as we're already seeing Blue get really low, and Triggered is going to find Aiden, but the Tracers are both traded out. Chaos finds a great kunai to the dome of Sonic, and now Triggered is trying to get some just big kill onto Super, but Super is not going to be letting that happen. Gets the KO. Instead, we're going to see Denji pop ult, finds absolutely nothing with the Flux, unfortunately, but the damage is already done from the rest of the team. Jinxed is gone. Super finds a couple without even pulling the ult, and now we're going to be not only tied, taking the lead for Elvish Soul Knife, and they're going to get close spawn out of this.
Yeah, being able to secure the forward spawns, obviously the massive thing here. Now it's just going to be the matter of continuing to build this forward, right? Freefall on their side of things. You have Trigger coming up towards another OC, but already Super's got him.
Super, it started a little bit in the favor of Trigger, but Super has been good, just woken up here late in this map. Super's gotten 2 in this fight alone, and the progress is just going to keep on tiling up as they are trying to just go for it, and they still have Overclocked online.
Still OC online, and still meters being gained right now, right? It's just a matter of Freefall having to try to commit to a full stabilization here, trying to encroach and get space back on the map here, and finally they're going to be able to push to the buy.
Yeah, and Triggered is actually going to be the one to pop OC here. Sonic is in the backline, is going to find Blue, and that is a KO. We're going to see Oh No find Denji, and that's 2 more to follow. We're going to see everyone fall, but one, I think someone got out. Is it their... I think it was their Tracer. Tracer didn't get KO'd in that fight, but that's going to be a full team reset for Elvish, but Freefall's coming in with multiple ults here too.
Yeah, tons of different tools to work with here, but it's going to be the matter of, again, keeping this poke, keeping the angles here as the OC is going to be the first thing we do, right?
Yeah, Super is kind of doing what we wanted to see here for a while, but Aiden finds Jinxed in the back line. Oh, that pulse comes in. Is gonna find Chaos. That Zuzu was just a little early there, causing it to not be able to negate that pulse bomb. Now we're just trying to see if they can trade out and stay alive on point. Denji getting low is gonna get taken out. Oh no, is gonna pull ult and find 2 with that big angry monkey going crazy on the point. And now you're just trying to see if you can maybe get a couple KOs onto maybe this Tracer and stagger it out. Doesn't look like it's gonna be. I lied. Sonic just one clipped. Jesus, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and that was not necessarily a must-win situation, but this is where Free Fall definitely would prefer to start making the comeback now versus having to do it potentially later into OT or something like that. That being said, only a sound barrier to their name right now. It is going to be good sustain, but having to live through a Gravitic Flux, a Kitsune Rush, and potentially a Pulse Bomb as well here, Elvish Soul Knife certainly have all the pressure in the world here.
Yep, we're gonna see Beat come out to match the Kitsune Rush, which means Denji has a free Gravitic Flux here as this is ended. I'm expecting to see it very shortly. He is gonna see it, gonna pick up the Monkey. Monkey gets real low, Monkey's gonna get taken out. Oh no, is gone, and that means that you have a 4v5, and it's a 5v3, 5v2 as Triggered and Jinx go down. Sonic is out as well, and they are gonna stagger just a smidge on Keegs, and that is going to be a team kill for Elvish Soul Knife. But I think the damage for Free Fall was done. 2 ults are out for their trade on the 1, and they got a lot of progress back, and they got the close spawn.
Well, everybody got the close spawn except for Keeg right there, right? That
true,
delayed death on the Kiriko, so now as you see, having to send somebody back to make sure that Kiriko TP's in, and already having to fight, re-securing forward spawns for Elvish Soul Knife means that there's going to be at least 2 more fights before Free Fall can get back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to bounce back. And with the minute 50 left, 29 meters, it doesn't seem like a lot, but with how much you have to do it with, it's insane stick from Aiden, though. Sonic is gone. Sticking a fellow Tracer is very difficult as is. And Triggered is going to get taken down as well. Both teams winning their 1v1s there, as everyone's going to get in on the KO party. And we are going to see, I think we're going to get a little more push out of this. So this 29-meter lead is going to have to go up. And they're going to have to find, Free Fall's going to have to find an answer here without ults and honestly just slightly close to 1.
I mean, realistically, this is the perfect situation you want to be in on push if you're Elvish Soul Knife, right? You don't even have to invest ults, right? You can start stacking them for that final fight, the OT situation here. Force Free Fall to be the ones to commit and invest in these fights here. But we'll have to see if Ono can build up to the Primal Rage and then act, see if it can be chose to be invested or held on to.
Yeah, and Blue has been teetering with death, very low, very back and forth on that low HP there. And we're going to see Triggered pop ult. You're going to see Wu Yang pop ult to match. Super is going to get triggered in this fight. And now we're just trying to melt down. Flux is going to come out. They are going to end up using a few ults here. Super finds a second person in this fight after Aiden is taken down. You see, oh no, popping the Primal Rage. And now Keegs is just trying to stay alive here, making sure that they can sustain for this overtime fight. Triggered's going to find Super after switching over to the Cassidy. Oh no, is going to find Denji. And now with 29 seconds left and 57 meters to recover from, you're going to have to win probably 3 fights here to get potentially a win here on map 1.
Yeah, 3, potentially even 4 fights here. You do have the sound barrier for that provided sustain here, which you're going to need, right? You're pushing into an overclock and a Kitsune Rush here. Almost sort of wish Denji still had that Gravitic Flux in the back pocket here. That's sort of a win situation if you can catch it onto at least one member here, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. Heading into overtime now, somebody's got to be on the spot.
Yes, it's getting real close as this is ending now. Super's gonna pop ult, but is matched with Jinx's big beat, and that is going to be Chaos as well, popping the Kitsune Rush. Super's still gonna find Jinx with that rail shot, and it looks like it may be the beginning of the end. Aiden's gonna find a pulse bomb onto Triggered. Triggered did get a kill out of it though. No pulse bomb found for the side of Free Fall, and that'll be it, ladies and gentlemen. Elvish is going to take map 1 and keep their undefeated map streak alive at 5 straight here at the Kickoff tournament. And obviously, we're heading to match point already.
Yeah, match point already. Just these first to 2s situations that you have in the Kickoff tournament here. But Free Fall, we saw a nice little matchup, right, between the dive and the poke composition here. Just Elvish being able to take angles time and again here. Free Fall did have some good moments where you saw their dive sort of come together, right? The Winston being able to jump in same time as the Tracer, really come away with some good kills here, but it wasn't enough to secure, that necessary win here. So back to the drawing board potentially. We do have a whole new set of bans and a whole new mode coming up, so that could turn the tide in your favor, but already feeling your back against the wall is never a good place to be.
Right, and it is a, you're being down a map. These kickoff tournament maps are very fast, right? You can just snap and you lose one, you're down to match point. It's not a best of 3 like other like the other leagues and other situations we'll be in for BPL. These are real quick, but a spot in the finals of this tournament on the line. Will we see Free Fall respond, or do you think, or we see Elvish Soul Knight just continue to just keep this undefeated streak alive? We are headed to a flashpoint, obviously, to for this round 2. They haven't lost. No team has lost a point on these maps yet. 3-0 for Free Fall, and we're 6-0 for Elvish Soul Knight on these flashpoint maps. So someone's gonna lose their first point on, let alone map, in this scenario.
Yeah, so there is obviously going to be that added pressure here that you have to be concerned about going into Flashpoint. But also, you know, it's one of those things where, depending on the Flashpoint map, we could see a variety of different compositions. We know that the Hazard most likely going to be back in play here. Could certainly be a factor here, but also, you know, we've talked about it, how much Malga has really been a presence here, at least in C-League. I haven't been able to do a quick little check on the other leagues, but it seems like everybody's been enjoying the funny Malga character, the miniguns firing at full force here, so could be a little bit of that coming in here. We'll have to see what these teams have prepped, but they've picked the most people will say the best Flashpoint map, Saravasa, coming up.
Yep, and we thought we were going to see it, but obviously not, as Free Fall wants zero part of that. Malga is the first character that is banned on this map, and I think with very good... Actually, it's Elvish who's going to ban it. Oh!
That shouldn't be right, because Free Fall did get...
I thought it was the other way around.
I was going to say, this should be a Free Fall ban.
I think it's Free Fall's ban. I was going to say, I think they have first ban, but either way, Malga getting banned is crazy. If so.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. Look how quick Prod is to just fix things. Human beings. They're human beings. They're going to make mistakes, but look at them just being so quick and great at it. This is what we like to see. But May is going to be the other ban. Yeah, I think that's a fair ban. I know what, as a tank player, I get it. Especially on maps like this, they're very annoying and difficult to play against. The ice character is not fun on Saravasa, especially.
Listen, if anybody was tuning into, I don't know what stream it was on yesterday, you might have seen some horrendous May gameplay from yours truly, so we don't need to talk about that. But, hey, like you said, we don't need to talk about it because it's banned. It's out of here. It's taken out of the pool. And this could mean a few different things, right? Obviously, we know the Hazard could potentially be coming back out for Elvish Soul Knife, but honestly, you know, playing into the poke as well, not wanting to deal with the May, having to deal with walls and stuff like that, continuing to play angles, banning out May is a perfectly valid option here. It's not something we've seen a super ton of, but when it does, so being able to take it out, it might be a bit of a read here where Soul Knife is up ahead of the game.
Yeah, and we got a couple subs coming in as well. It looks like for the side of Free Fall, Killer Queen. Wait, am I reading it right? Yeah. Killer Queen is in for Jinxed. I don't know who that is on their list, but they are playing in, they're coming in for Jinxed. And then it looks like Donk is coming in. Donk is going to head in for Oh No to play some tank.
I love how you were second guessing yourself, because you were like, could Joe Bidonk be Donk? Is that really?
I just had to read the name and I was like, Joe. I look at him like, who's Joe? And I'm like, there's no Joe. Let me read again. Oh, that's Donk, guys. Hey, there's Donk. He's on the team. But yeah, I'm excited. Both of these teams whipping out the Ramatra. I'm actually not too shocked about that. Just because both of these, I don't know much about Donk. I've heard rumors of the Donk and being very talented. But I know Denji has it in the pool to play this great Ramatra character. And with no Malga, I think this makes total sense for this side. And Blue has been really loving that Wu Yang this tournament. But Aiden is going to be the first down very early to Triggered. I think this is a great adjustment from Free Fall to keep them on Cassidy for this point.
Yeah, I mean, we know how strong Cassidy can be right now, as well as this Symmetra in tow means a lot of teleporter shenanigans here to try to put the rest of Free Fall on top of Elvish before they have a chance to react is exactly what you want to see. One of our observers just imploded. That's unfortunate, but
yeah, it happens.
Here, Free Fall will get control of the point to start here.
Yeah, and we did see actually that there was a KO I actually missed. I saw it with my eyes, saw the punching go out, and then I see nothing else happening. But Super's gonna get taken out, and I mean, Free Fall is trying to respond here on this point. The first on Saravasa, it is really, really hard to retake some of the times on this first point if you depending on where your angles are and where you're gonna be playing at. But it does look like Donk is playing extremely well to try to make something happen here and stay alive with that block there. We're gonna see Denji actually going real early, but we're gonna see Triggered get another opening KO on Blue and is gonna get the high noon off on Denji. Yuri goes down to Donk punch. Aiden's gonna find Sonic out of this, but it doesn't matter because Triggered is on a tear. Super is going to follow on that death, and now we are just, I mean, moments away from first point capture for Free Fall.
I mean, that was a Deadeye built in a minute. That about sums up what's been happening here on Market. It seems like, unless there's a last-second contest, Elvish is going to have to give this one up here. Swapping over to the Zarya now. Going to try to, you know, potentially bubble Aiden and get your Genji a little bit of play that way here. But it does mean in the flat-out tank war, you are going to be a little bit short-handed here, as once those bubbles go down, the Ramatra's going to have all of the sustain on the other side.
Yeah, and Blue's going to move over to Lucio to try to make this work even more. So they're going to go to a full-on... I really like the Zarya pick. So they're full-on brawl here with the Zarya. I think the Genji, if they can get in, Triggered, maybe negate some of those shots that Trigger's hitting, but Denji's already real low. Donk is just going to roll in and get the KO. Killer Queen is going to get taken out, though, by Super. Yuri is going to go down as well. Aiden's going to find Triggered, though, so it's just a lot of trades, but Blue gets it. Are they flipping? Is Elvish going to be able to flip this around? Super's going to get taken out, but Blue finds another. Donk is going to pull the ult. They can win it by themselves. They might be able to just close this out here. They're going to try to take down the Lucio, who's the only person standing left for Elvish Soul Knight. Blue is not going to be able to stay alive. You're going to see Hazard come in, another switch off for Denji, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Denji is going to get lower. Oh, what is dragged down? Oh, it's able to climb back up. I thought it was over.
I also thought it was over. That's incredibly difficult here, but now Free Fall pushing up and Donk a little too far forward.
Yeah, a little overextension there. Super's going to make sure they capitalize on that play, and now they're going to just go in and be aggressive. We've seen a lot of the Denji Hazard to start this tournament, and it's been a solid situation for them. They are very aggressive on that dive and very good at, and this team is really good at taking advantage of overextensions like that.
Yeah. And so now we are, you know, having to watch how this comes out here. The TP on top, and it's already bursting onto players. That's what you love to see.
Yes, but it's not without death, as Denji did get triggered on the trade out, and Aiden's going to pull the blade, and we're going to see one get taken down before the beat is able to drop, and we're looking for a second, but will not be able to. Keegs going to find the KO, but the rest of the team is there to help Aiden out as Killer Queen and Keegs are taken down, and that should be the end of this fight, as Elvish is looking to tie up this map at one apiece.
That's sort of the hope and dream right now. Free Fall have pretty much tapped out their ult bank, only going to have the Deadeye to work with heading into what the final contest here on Temple. Meanwhile, both support ultimates as well as an overclock online here for Elvish is going to allow them to have the sustain needed to live this next fight.
Yep, and this is a high noon coming out for Triggered. Triggered can't find anybody to hit. He's gonna wild around and somehow gets Blue out of all of this. Killer Queen's gonna go down. Super's gonna find 3 in this fight, getting Triggered and Donk as well. And that should be the OT fight, tying up this map. As we do see Sonic switched off the sim, by the way, before that fight over to Tracer.
Yeah, I think it's just that you kind of have to give up the go in the Symmetra shenanigans, right? You teleport, everybody just gets hit with the Hazard Slash as well as the Jagged Wall. You don't want to deal with that. Now, as we make our way over to Garden, however, potentially going to have an engagement outside of the objective here as both teams are clashing. And again, you're looking towards Sad Blue Whale with this sound barrier to try to provide the sustain for the team.
Yeah, and Killer Queen's actually going to get off of Lucio, move over to the Mizuki, trying to mitigate some of this Hazard dive, and with a chain that has been really good for this in this game. And Beat's going to be the engagement party here. Donk is punching away, trying to find anybody to punch. Super's going to get triggered, and Keys is going to go down to Denji. You're going to see the Ramatra ult come out, and you're going to see Kitsune Rush also match it with it, trying to find anybody in the process of this, but it's just not going to be enough. Killer Queen's dead. Super's going to get taken out. Hazard's going to go down. Hold on. Don't stop. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Donk is 5-4. 5. Donk found a 5, man. And all of that completely turning the fight upside down. I fully expected that to be over, but no. Donk said, I take it into my own hands.
It's very simple. You have to shoot the Ramatra. Trying to ignore the Annihilation is going to allow situations like that to occur time and again here. So free fall. Now, it's still going to be in a bit of a regroup phase, having to get everybody back, but now it seems like both teams are on the objective, going to be looking for their opening here, at least on main.
I mean, what a crazy fight that was. Sonic did pull back. Almost died in the process of that, but Killer Queen and Trigger are gonna find two for free fall. And when I thought that they were down with no momentum, you just see them come out of just rise from the ashes to try to fight this back and now have complete control of this point, potentially heading to map point here if with this last fight here for Elvish. But Elvish has the ult advantage, I think, coming into this with the ults that are about to come online.
Yeah, I mean, tons of different tools to work with here. Nice little chain up onto the hazard, just try to stop the that pulse.
Yep, Super's taking down Big Stick. Trigger's gonna pull the high noon and is gonna find a few hits on it, and everybody's just gonna get taken down in the process of it. No one is able to survive. Silver Bullet comes out as well for a good measure, and that'll be 0.3 as we head to map point for this one. And it's right behind them, so this is gonna be a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, heading on over to Palace now for what could be the final point in free fall. He's going to be able to establish themselves first here. Elvish Soul Knights, their advantage is they have all 5 ultimates, but they have to think about the rest of this map here. They have to keep their ult economy in check for the rest of the map here. So they want to win this fight out. They want to get the first half, but they have to do it without over-investing here.
Yep. And Donk tried to use that to protect them. The shield was really weirdly placed. Aiden already found it triggered on this, but the Kakai Sanctuary is huge. It's just not enough to help out as Beat's gonna go down. 2 ults used to match the, it looks like just the one from Free Fall, but it looks like everybody else is gonna go down as the Deflect is gonna take out Sonic, and Elvish will take this point first.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a fine enough trade in and of itself here. Now heading into this next fight, you have Donk again with another Annihilation. This time, no speed boost, though, with Killer Queen going over to that Mizuki. That's one thing with when you lose the Lucio, you lose some of that mobility for your Ramatra player here. Meanwhile, Elvish Soul Knife going to be able to meet on this high ground, potentially with a downpour ready to go.
Chad, they might not even need it as Killer Queen is already going to get taken out. We see Super pull. The Overclocked is going to find 1-2 in the process of this, and that honestly should be it for this fight. You see Tracer's just running away, trying to be doing anything there. But it's now tank ults plus Kitsune Rush for both sides going into a potential last fight on this point, as we might be heading to a 0.5.
Yeah, if I'm Denji in this situation, I almost sort of want to hold my downpour to just try to trap the Ramatra ult in it to give everybody on my team a chance to run away here. Because again, no Lucio speed boost means that Ramatra is going to be very slow on the uptake, but already ripping it out.
Yeah, they ripped it, and the beautiful bell from Yuri to make sure, from Keeks to make sure nobody gets taken down, but the damage is done from it. Both Kitsune Rushes drop. Donk is going to find one. I don't think we're going to see a multiple from this one as the ult is already over. Keeks is already taken down after a beautiful slash from Denji, and now it's just Donk on point, and it's not going to be enough. They did flip in the process of it, but I highly doubt they're going to come to try to touch that, as we're going to go to 0.5, and they're going to have to go all the way across the map to secure who's gonna stay alive here, as Elvish is on match point. Game is over if Elvish did it. Free Fall's trying to send this to a map 3. What's gonna happen here?
We'll have to see here. Heading into Ruins, you do have the Pulse Bomb online, but realistically nothing else. Aiden trying to build up to that Dragon Blade, right? No more worry of the sound barrier on the other side with that Mizuki in play. Means that this Dragon Blade should be able to be a massive turnaround.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Pulse come through. It's not gonna be enough, and it's not gonna fight anything. Killer Queen and Dark are gone. Elvish is gonna be able to take control of this first fight as Denji and Aiden are cleaning up the fight here, and there's just the Tracer alive again. They won't chase. Point control first is going to Elvish, and I mean, it's just Blade online. No one really close for Free Fall and Ult Charge.
Yeah, no, so they're going to have to try to win this fight out raw. This is most likely going to come down to potentially landing a chain, putting the tether onto the Dragon Blade, slowing down that momentum, and then focusing.
There it is.
Or getting a massive pick like that could be the opener.
That is exactly what you needed. I was like, right before it happened, I was like, they just need a pick to get this started. And they're going to find 2. Killer Queen found a great chain over to Denji to get that KO, and Triggered is going to get another one, as that is going to be the end of this fight. Sierra, by the way, has been moved over to, I think that was at the tail end of last point. And we're going to see the flip at 49% for Elvish. now it's free fall on the up on this point now, with closer to the ult economy that they're looking for to try to potentially win this map outright and stay alive in this match.
Yeah, they want to try to push this one. They're most likely going to try to play it fast and loose here because they don't want to try to give too much time over to Freefall to build some of these key ultimates and already committing the sound barrier.
Yeah, we see Blade come out, which they're just trying to win this fight outright and be early with it. Donk is just trying to block and stay alive. They're going to try to look for other ults here potentially, but Sonic is actually going to find a pick on the super, but it's Keegs who's going to go down, and so is Donk. Aiden's going to find 2. Trigger's following Yuri's going to get Killer Queen, and the point is going to be flipped at 50%, and Sonic needs to die. Is gonna be taken down. Is gonna get the joint with Killer Queen to actually be able to spawn early with that. So that was lucky there.
That was a heavy commit from Elvish Soul Knife, now only rocking with that Kitsune Rush and the overclock here. Meanwhile, Freefall coming in with 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 ultimates to rock here. It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, we're gonna see ults pop early. Yuri's gonna pop the ult. We're gonna see a couple of ults come out from the other side. Kakai Sanctuary as well. Denji's gonna find one. We're gonna see trades. Points needs to be touched. Point is there. We're gonna see the ult come out. Trigger's gonna find one. Aiden's gonna find another. The trades are going back and forth, and it's just 2. Aiden versus Donk on point. Who wins, the fighting robot or the Dragon Blade wielder? As we are trying to see. They're going to have reinforcements coming in soon as both Lucios have hit the point. And now we're seeing Hazard come in as well. Killer Queen's going to find him. The death. Unfortunately, Denji is there back in action. Flip is they're just trying to stay alive in this map. Free fall. Can they do anything? Sonic over on the Venture actually gets a pick on Aiden. Now it's just a matter of trying to stay alive and maybe get the flips going, and no ult online for either team. Super finds Donk. Trigger's gonna get super, and now we see Sad Blue Whale getting the beat down, which could be the difference maker in this fight, as that'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we thought they may have gotten the flip, but Elvish in a heck of a match in that point 2 will be taking it and moving on to our C League finals in the Kickoff tournament.
I mean, yeah, incredible back and forth here, especially on Saravasa here. Both these teams clearly giving it their all, and you saw that there was never a moment that they gave up in it, willing to be able to turn these fights, like you see for this one from Donk here. Nice little highlight, but unfortunately not going to be able to come away with the win there for Freefall. So now Elvish Soul Knife finds themselves in that grand finals of the Kickoff Clash for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great match from both teams. I think that, you know, who knows if we are going to a best of 5, could this be a different type of game, right? Your mental's a little different when you're not at match point already and you're playing a little more loose. But yeah, that's just tough, well fought game from both teams. The score definitely doesn't reflect it with the 2-0, of course.
Yeah, no, the score just doesn't show, and that's the unfortunate thing when you're doing these first to twos. It's very easy to overlook and not realize the power that some of these players are providing to the server here. But again, good little look from Freefall here. Very short time in the tournament indeed here. But again, you have the rest of Season 8. You got so much more time to actually sort of start gelling as a team here. I know my team was talking about it yesterday, sort of viewing this entire tournament as just some really fancy scrims to really be able to get the juices flowing, be able to figure out where everybody wants to be. So good on a free fall, good performance, but overall Elvish Soul Knife now with a spot in the grands, definitely looking to try to make a splash early.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a beautiful game that they played. I think Elvish has just been executing on all cylinders. You could tell that they are just ready to go for this league, and I mean, we saw it today from a lot of different players making a lot of different plays and playing out of their minds. But let's take a look at the bracket so you can see what's going on the opposite side of the bracket. What are we waiting for over there? We're waiting for Boundless Waltz and Sixth Kingdom, who will be playing later tonight, actually, here shortly, I believe. So they will be playing, and Elvishes will await tomorrow for their finale against the winner of that game.
Yeah, finals, of course, occurring on the Sunday across all 3 leagues and stuff like that. You do have this game going on. Actually, it probably already started, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have actually already started.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that's probably EST, not my time zone.
Yeah, listen, nobody wants to deal with Central or, Mountain Time Zone. No, those aren't real time zones. We
Whoa. Central got some bangers. We do have Shy. Yeah. We got the Shy. Come on now.
I know.
Yeah, that should be ending shortly. So they'll have their result here soon, and we'll know who they're playing And then we'll take a look at tomorrow's schedule. What that looks like for across all
digging
leagues.
into our family history.
Yeah, so we found something that
Yeah,
none of us
but
knew
go ahead
about.
and see
I
what
can
the
explain.
schedule's looking like here. At least that's what we're told we were doing. So we're just, we're just sitting here. We're looking there.
There we go.
Already
It
have
looks.
one of the grand finals, or
Yeah,
that might
I
not
believe
be the
they're.
grand finals.
I think we're
That
ready to
probably
go.
isn't.
Let's see. I can pull up all the brackets. Amatori is playing in their grand finals. They are going to be awaiting the winner of Siren Song Phantom Verdict, which I don't believe will be on our side. It looks like Blue Rose and Nightwings play really, really early. So they'll be playing that game, and that game will go into the flying. I cannot pronounce that word, but they'll be playing that game right after, which the winner of that will head to their grand finals as well. So it looks like we may have a B stream, but this is what the game plan is for A stream tomorrow. We shall see, though.
Listen, tons of action. We talked about it all weekend long. Everybody on the back end trying to work and do amazing things to try to get as many of these matches streamed as possible. I think I remember Knock pulled up a statistic earlier. It was like 60-something% of all matches have been streamed with casters, even higher percentage when you're counting just streamed in general as like a clean feed or something like that. So you got the BPL machine working in overtime all ready to kick off Season 8, and you love to see it.
Yeah, and I think it's it'll get a lot smoother when you get to the actual matches, because you have an easier time scheduling, not games that are happening boom, 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 when everyone playing basically at one time, it's a lot harder. But yeah, so they'll have a lot better time, and it'll be a lot easier when it's not the kickoff tournament. But they're doing a phenomenal job. The top to bottom, making sure everything's scheduled appropriately. Casters are scheduled. Everything's been super easy on our end to make sure that we're here to get you some great content, some great games, and some even better Overwatch, which we have gotten a lot of so far this kickoff tournament. And I think BPL 8 is in for a treat. The fans, you guys should be genuinely excited for what is to come.
Yes, indeed. But with all that being said, I think this is the last stream for A, so it'll probably be a raid into B or something like that. Or if not, it's just the end of the action for the day. That means go to bed totally before midnight. Try to not be a degenerate gamer for once. I'll say that knowing I'm not going to bed till like 4 a.m. But anyway, but actually we are planning to raid one of the team streams that's going on.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Matches, so you love to see it. Make sure you show them the love. Of course, BPL here. But Davion, pleasure to cast with you as always. We got a lovely back end.
Great job.
Many people were observing that we can't credit them all, but that's why we have a credits page. Knock will throw that up in a second, but until next time, we'll see y'all later.
Yes, thank you all. Peace.